We're going to talk a lot about what happened in the game against Kentucky. 9-6 the finals, you heard from Phil Elson. They're back in Fayetteville getting ready for when there'll be the national seed announced on Sunday, who the teams will be coming in the Fayetteville Regional on Monday. No baseball between now and then for Arkansas, but you do have 3 games remaining in Hoover for who decides the SEC champion.
All right, talking Arkansas baseball this morning, the SEC tournament. We're headed to the postseason. It's brought to you by the Stadium Shop. They're on Razorback next to Baum Walker, where many of us will be for the regional next week. Stop in for everything you need to get Razorback ready. The largest selection of Razorback gear south of the North Pole. You can shop online at shoponrazorback.com. And by Cofer's Boat Center, your trusted dealer for Malibu, Axis, Camuslow, and much more. Go to Cofer's.com. That's COPHERS.com. Cofer's Boat Center, providing family fun since 1971.
If you want to call or text us on the McClarty Daniel hotline, do so. 877-377-6963. Robert in Conway is our first text that we'll read this morning, asking about if we're concerned losing 7 of 10. And again, Arkansas has not played.
Is that the record the last 10 games? I haven't checked that.
I don't think that's entirely.
That is
accurate. Right. Okay.
I knew that it would have been 4 or 5, counting the A&M series, and then obviously, lost 2 of 3 there, and you lost. The only game you've won in your last 5 at the 2 of the SEC is the Saturday or the middle game at A&M. So I haven't went back further than that. But yeah, I mean, if 7 of 10 is the number, that you don't like the trend. I don't want to say you're panicked and worried, and you can start adding all these adjectives, but yeah, right. I mean, you're not heading the right direction.
Yeah, and I think it was yesterday on the Hog Reaction show that someone cited the 2022 team where you struggled. You also went 0-2 in Hoover, did not end up having a great season. I believe that's the only season in the last 6 years that you didn't actually win the SEC West because you had to go to Stillwater, you had to go to Chapel Hill. That team ended up in Omaha. And again, it's not always a good indication of what happens in Hoover, Alabama, that who determines who's going to make it the farthest in the postseason of any SEC team. For example, 2 of the top 4 seeds have already been bounced in the NCAA or the SEC tournament. Tennessee and Kentucky are the only seeds that remain right now, both from the East. Arkansas and A&M both lost yesterday and lost earlier in the week, so they were in the double elimination portion, were eliminated quickly. So again,
but you knew that going into yesterday because of who the elimination games were. Yeah. Those 4 teams were playing each other, so that was a given going into yesterday. Arkansas just ends up on the wrong side of that business. So that was something we were going to say either way this morning.
But the setup leading up to that is though all is on Wednesday that all 4 of the top seeds lost. So, and usually it's not all 4. It's maybe 1, 2, 3, but that's just how this season has gone. This postseason has gone so far in Hoover, Alabama. I don't know what's going to happen. Again, the setup for today, you've got Kentucky against now it says, now help me on this. LSU, I didn't watch the game yesterday, but I looked at the score. It said LSU won, but it's got South Carolina as the team.
No, that game finished. It was 11-10, I believe, is the final. I saw the very tail end of that. It was a 8th and 9th inning comeback from LSU. They scored, I believe, it was 2 in the 8th and 2 in the 9th.
Well, the SEC needs to change their scoreboard because they've got Kentucky playing South Carolina.
Well,
I thought it was
probably fill that in a little early because it looked that way for a long time in that game, and then LSU does what LSU does, and. Again, I keep coming back. I felt like we were going to be a problem at this time of the year, and they were heating up at the right time, but late inning comeback.
So, again, it's the Wildcats and the Tigers today, and then Tennessee takes on Mississippi State. Those are your matchups later on at 3 and 6:30. I personally, I don't know how y'all feel. I'm not going to watch any of the remaining SEC games. I don't have a lot of interest, to be perfectly honest. If Arkansas was playing, of course I'd watch it. I'd see who potentially the next opponent would be. But with Arkansas exiting, this just doesn't do it for me. And maybe I could learn something or two about the team that you could potentially play. I don't know if they're going to line up Mississippi State or South Carolina potentially in a regional next door to you that would be paired with you. They could possibly see them. This just doesn't appeal to me to watch this. Now, LSU right now, again, South Carolina and LSU were both playing really good baseball. I think Messina had another really outstanding game for the Gamecocks yesterday. But Tigers are a tough team to beat, and that's not a team you want to see in your regional. Again, a team that was probably on the bubble a good chunk of this season. All of a sudden, at the end of the season, they've really turned on. They still got talent. They lost Cruz. They lost Skeens last year. But Tanks and some of the other guys that they have are still outstanding. And Arkansas is glad to have that win on that series win on the resume earlier this year.
All right, so I'm trying to figure this out. Kentucky goes there on the bracket. Arkansas's out, so it's let's see. Tennessee versus, you said Mississippi State won that other game, right?
Yes, Tennessee versus Mississippi State, Kentucky, LSU.
All right. So no, I think LSU's off. It'd be Kentucky versus A&M, right?
Now A&M lost to Tennessee yesterday, and they've been eliminated.
The way they draw this bracket up, it's unbelievable. Yeah, to game 13 is loser of game 11, South Carolina. Yeah, there you go. All right, got it.
Yeah, the bracket's not ideal that they toss out. It's kind of all over the place. It's not like and it's not like
LSU's off till tomorrow, I guess is the other thing I was trying to get to.
Okay, so that's what I was asking about. So is it
because LSU is the team that's won twice here. So winner of game, I know this is not very good radio, but winner of game 11 is LSU. They go there, and then LSU will play the winner of Kentucky and South Carolina on Saturday at noon. That's it.
So they get a bye.
Today, Tennessee and Mississippi State in the second game, and they'll play the winner of today's Kentucky-South Carolina game. LSU is off till Saturday at noon.
Is there not another team that's off?
Nope, because LSU is the only team that has won two. They've actually won three. They beat Georgia, then they turn around and they beat Kentucky, and then they beat South Carolina. So they get the advantage of that.
Okay, so what I said earlier, it is accurate that South Carolina is playing Kentucky today.
South Carolina and Kentucky at 3 o'clock today. Tennessee, Mississippi State follow that. There's two games today, and then LSU it has the day off and awaits the winner of Kentucky, South Carolina.
I'm just glad they're going to single elimination next year. Dave Van Horn.
Here's the deal. Losers of today's game, done.
Yeah, I'm glad that they're going to single elimination. Dave Van Horn talked about that a little bit. We'll get some comments about that and more. He had a lot to say. I think he's disappointed. I think a lot of you are disappointed, but it's not the end of the world. They'll regroup, they'll rally, and they'll be in Fayetteville next week.
All right, that's where we begin today. Fenceman Friday picks later in the show, brought to you by APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group. They are equal opportunity employers with plenty of options right now in North Central and Northwest Arkansas. Heavy equipment operators. If you're a licensed CDL driver, if you've worked in a quarry, you've worked on road construction crews, or you've got special road construction skills, they have jobs for you right now. Go to jobs.crh.com to apply and see all the available positions. That's jobs.crh.com. APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group are equal opportunity employers.
ESPN Arkansas and Phil Elson are live at the 2024 SEC Baseball Tournament. Our coverage is presented by the Stadium Shop on Razorback, your Omaha's headquarters, the largest selection of Razorback merchandise south of the North Pole. Shop on Razorback.com. It doesn't get any more Razorback than the Stadium Shop. Kofer's Boat Center. Kofer's huge selection of new boats can be seen on their website, Kofer's.com. That's COPHERS.com. Kofer's Boat Center, providing family fun since 1971.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
This is the Morning Rush.
Give me the hogs, Chuck. Give me the hogs.
Get 1.9% financing for well-qualified buyers on a GMC Sierra 1500 at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The 24 GMC Sierra 1500 has a 5.3-liter V8 engine, so you can conquer the road with confidence. Get 1.9% financing and $3,250 in purchase allowance when you trade an eligible vehicle. See the new GMC Sierra 1500 at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. We are professional grade. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Do you need help with your next project? Metters Lumber True Value is here to help. A family-owned business since 1936, the staff has more than 90 years of experience in construction and the hardware business. If they don't have what you need, they know how to get it, and they are more than happy to accommodate your special order. So whether it's building a new deck, a paint project around the house, or needing a new set of tools, Metters Lumber True Value has everything you need. With locations in Alma, Ozark, and Clarksville, and you can shop online at metterslumber.com. Metters Lumber True Value. Do you need an attorney that you can actually speak with? You need Hickey & Hull Law Partners. The attorneys at Hickey & Hull understand the importance of client communication and are taking the time to meet you, respond to emails, and return calls. Every case is important, and they strive to give each one the time and attention it deserves. Call today, 479-434-2414, or visit them online at kevinhickeylaw.com. Hickey & Hull Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
The Wave Rural Connect Shoal Creek Zone is open. Fast fiber internet, TV, and home phone available. This covers Midway, New Blaine, Scranton, Delaware, and other areas. Even if this isn't your zone, check your address. We might be available for you. Get your whole home solution. Internet, TV, and phone from a local provider. Go to signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Hey, this is Ty Richardson for Jake Neal and his team at Jerry Neal's Barbecue. Jake's dad, Jerry, started cooking barbecue at Jerry Neal's in 1977, and Jake took over and has been doing the same thing ever since. I got ribs the last time I was there. Woo! Man, they were good. Don't forget about the catfish either. It's cooked to order, so it's hot and fresh every single time. The best catfish in the River Valley. Jerry Neal's Barbecue, Catfish, and Catering, 1823 Phoenix Avenue in Fort Smith.
Have your travel plans changed? Looking for a place that's close to home and keep your family safe? Gaston's White River Resort is located on the beautiful White River. They offer private accommodations in their lodges and cabins. Most cabins have a fully equipped kitchen, or let their restaurant staff deliver to your cabin. Call 870-431-5202 and change your plans to Gaston's White River Resort. Gaston's White River Resort, a first-class time every time.
If you knew all that Jody's Auto Service Centers can do for your vehicle and you'd never take your vehicle anywhere else.
My fleet is small, 14 trucks and cars. It's a struggle every day with parts, employees, and scheduling, but one thing I never worry about is vehicles. Jody's has special fleet pricing, special in and out service, or free shuttle and pickup and delivery service. And they do everything, service, repair, and maintenance. That makes my life much easier. All my vehicles go to Jody's.
Latest technology and highly trained technicians means we could do it all. From the most highly technical repairs to everyday oil change specials, tires, everything, even diesels. Jody'sAuto.com schedule free shuttle service or pickup and delivery. Get a tire quote, get financing. Jody's Auto Service Centers, voted best of the best by our customers year after year. We're your neighbors since 1984 with 3 full-service locations in Fort Smith and Van Buren. See for yourself at JODYSauto.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
You know I've had a heater while I'm waiting on y'all to get me on the radio.
Here's the pitch. A high fly ball to deep left field. Back is Waldschmidt at the fence. He leaps, and it's out of here. Holt hits a 3-run homer, and they're back in the game.
You can now download our new app in the iTunes or Google Play Store. Listen anytime and anywhere on your favorite mobile device. Just search Hit That Line now.
All right, so I think we figured it out after 10 minutes. Dave Van Horn had some comments yesterday about the single elimination. Again, that wasn't on necessarily his list of priorities after a 9-6 loss to the Kentucky Wildcats. But we'll get into that, some of the other stuff he had to say in the coming hours here on the Morning Rush. And Chuck joins us in about 15 minutes.
Hey, we are brought to you by Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Always the best brands like Grand Design, Forest River, Brinkley Model Zs. I know that, beginning today and probably already yesterday as well, you're starting to see a lot of people getting out, getting ready to go camping, headed to the lake, headed to wherever their spot is. They've loaded up at the grocery store. They've pulled all the stuff they want out of the freezer and taken with them, and now they're going to enjoy the long weekend at their favorite lake or favorite spot, whatever that is. There's a lot of great places just in the natural state. And with summer coming up, imagine being able to travel in style and stay in style wherever you want. And really at a moment's notice. That's the freedom you get when you go RVing. And that's where Wheels RV can help you enjoy that freedom. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
All right, here's Dave on the future of next season.
I don't know. A bye is always good, but, when you got to win or go home, it's a lot of travel if you don't win, when you're in and out of here like that. So I don't know what else we can do. I mean, they've looked at everything, looked about like having 2 tournaments and the winners play each other. I mean, then you got to have 2 sites and you got to have 2 of everything. So it'll be interesting next year.
I'm curious to see how the first edition of the SEC tournament in 25 turns out. This new format, I should say.
I'm just telling you, they ought to give my idea a little more credibility and a little more thought. You earn your way out of the tournament. And you can expand that. I mean, we watched all 4 top seeds this year, and I know it doesn't normally happen this way. And I know this idea of mine is backwards. But what was the need for any of the 4 top seeds, Kentucky, Arkansas, Tennessee, and A&M? What was the need to be there? They didn't get, they all 4 lost their first game.
You could argue Arkansas hurt their national seed ranking.
Now, 2 of those, obviously, 2 of them are going home yesterday just based on the format, but, teams towards the bottom have more to gain out of this, like a South Carolina, like Mississippi State. I wouldn't put as they were more middle of the pack, and you could say South Carolina was as well. But I'm just saying there's more to gain out of a team that's on the bubble. Look at what LSU has done this week. LSU has put away any doubt of making the field, and I don't think they played their way back in any kind of regional host situation, but they're probably a 2 seed at this point, right? Not that there's any difference really between a 2 and a 3. So my point is there's more to gain for a team in a situation like LSU was in this year. Or, Vanderbilt was in this year. Look who's performed the best. The idea of the top teams being out, I know it's backwards from anything else we do in sports. But we give buys all the time, right, in playoffs. What happens to the best teams in the NFC and the AFC, Ty, come playoff time? They get a bye, right? They get to watch the wild card teams go at it. Teams in baseball don't have to play in the shortened 1-game playoffs. Mm-hmm. What's the difference if the top teams, the division winners, I know we're doing away with divisions next year, but what would have been the problem with this tournament if Tennessee and Arkansas had both been said, you know what, you've earned your way out? I know, that's not going to sit well with network executives and probably the people in Hoover and different things, but it opens up a door for teams that need to either earn a bye or earn a place in the field. So that's what I'm saying. It's not going to happen, but I don't think it's without merit, just the discussion, because there is really no need for the top 3 or 4 teams in this league because you've sewn up your fate for the postseason. That's the answer, but they're never going to go there.
Yeah, it's the low-hanging fruit. You kind of just ended your argument right there. The network executives of ESPN and the SEC network are never going to allow that to happen.
It's just, but we're getting ready to go into a lot of anti-conventional things in sports. We're going to talk about it later with, this lawsuit stuff. But, sometimes the non-conventional thoughts are the ones that I think need some consideration. I'm just saying it's not. We already do it in other sports and other ways, but conference tournaments are supposed to be money makers.
Yeah, but
I'm not sure you make much money on the baseball tournament in the grand scheme of things.
No, but I would be hard pressed to find any conference tournament in any sports that disallows the top 2 or 4 teams from entering because of their quality record. I'm
not saying disallows. You earn your way out. That's what we just talked about. Do you think he just went through? You got to travel for one game. We'll see. Dave Van Horn just laid out all the difficulties of the format moving forward and the difficulties of playing in this week's event. I'm freeing you of the burden with my idea. You've earned your way out of it. You're not being disallowed.
We've had some good theories on this show. I don't disagree with where you're coming from. I just don't think that's even ever going to be brought to the table. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's a conversation that Sankey and his team and ESPNs have had.
Because you need to shorten the field is my point. You shorten the field by eliminating teams, but they eliminate from the bottom. And I understand the idea. Everybody wants to win a conference tournament title, but do they really? So I mean, I know it's not going to stick, but I think there's more merit to it, and because of what you're really trying to achieve at the end of the year.
Well, we can ask Chuck his thoughts. We'll get into again what happened in the 9-6 loss to Kentucky yesterday, the lawsuit that you mentioned that it's going to have major implications in college sports. I got a few things that I also want to get to. Last night, the Boston Celtics took Game 2 against the Indiana Pacers. Tyrese Halliburton injured. Doesn't look like the Pacers are going to be able to pull this thing out, especially after blowing that Game 1. So we got all that to get to here on a Fast Break Friday edition of the Morning Rush. If you would like to jump in, if you've got some thoughts on what Tommy just laid out, if you agree or disagree, or if you want to discuss what we've seen, not just yesterday, but really the last 10 games where Arkansas's lost 7 of 10, jump in here on the McLarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Also do want to mention we've got Memorial Day weekend. I know we're going to talk about some of that coming up. Again, we got to remember why this holiday exists, because of the soldiers that have laid down their lives for us to live in this great country. So we'll do all that when we return next on the Morning Rush.
The Cal era is here. Championship Under Construction is brought to you by Limbird Real Estate Group, serving all of Northwest Arkansas, Missouri, and the River Valley. For all your real estate needs, go to LimbirdTeam.com.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Roll into the season at WT Equipment. Get ready to roll with strong savings on hay tools, compact and mid-range tractors, and even our large commercial-grade hay equipment. Find out and save $5,000, $10,000, or more in cash back. Or get 0% financing for up to 48 months on hay tools, 60 months on mid-range tractors, and up to 72 months on compacts. Hurry, offer ends June 30th for commercial use only. Customer participation subject to credit qualification and CNH Industrial Capital America LLC approval. Standard terms, conditions, and other restrictions apply. Down payment may be required. WT Equipment, your partner in progress.
Tommy Kraft here for The Fenceman, the company you can trust when it comes to building your next fence. The Fenceman recently built new gates for my existing fence. The whole process was easy, quick, and most importantly, affordable. Plus, 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available with The Fenceman. If you need a new fence, gate, or anything that involves a fence, call The Fenceman, 479-782-3936. That's 782-3936. The Fenceman. He ain't afraid of no work.
Hey, this is former Razorback Jalen Williams, and you're listening to The Morning Rush.
Drive a compact SUV that has more style, power, and technology with the 2023 Buick Envision at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Right now, get 1.9% financing for 60 months on remaining 2023 Buick Envisions. Or choose up to $3,500 in factory discounts. The Buick Envision, it's all about you and designed to inspire. Experience the new Buick at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Sometimes I'm in a hurry. Stay in the slow lane, buddy. That's when I use the Sodies app to order my favorites and pick up in their drive-thru. They even offer a 10% discount on your first app order. Experience different at Sodies Wine and Spirits off I-540 on Phoenix Avenue.
Every day is worth celebrating at Uncorked. Cocktails, wine, craft beer, bourbons, and unbelievably great food. Uncorked on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodies.
Clogs? Nobody wants a clog. Westart Plumbing knows that clogs are a serious issue. They can signal that bigger problems are on the way. So contact Westart Plumbing while the problem is small. Slow shower and sink drains, gurgling toilets, and outside cleanouts making a mess? Call 479-646-5151 today. Westart Plumbing and expert drain cleaning since 1993. They keep you flowing. If you have slow drains or high water bills, call Westart Plumbing and expert drain cleaning service. 646-5151.
Patriot Transport wants to thank their drivers for their hard work and dedication. The local and over-the-road drivers are essential to the Patriot Transport mission. Day in and day out, Patriot Transport drivers are on the road striving for safety and success. To the behind-the-scenes dispatch and office employees, Patriot Transport thanks them as well for the hard work they put in day and night. If you want to be a part of the Patriot Transport family, visit patriottransport.com. Patriot Transport is located in Danville, Arkansas.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Hey, Wes. Billy, hay is for horses. Are my ears that long?
Oh, you got me again. I'm going to order a large Boss Hog pizza for fishing tomorrow.
That's a lot of food. You taking a friend?
No, sir. I'm going to use it as bait.
Pizza as bait for fishing?
Yes'm. The catfish love 'em. Some Jim's Razorback pizza.
They do?
Yes'm. They chase the bacon faster than green grass through a goose.
Bacon? Never would have thunk it.
Yup. And they come right to the river's edge when I call them too. Woo! Fish suey!
Oh, blessed Billy. All right, son. Have fun fishing.
Jim's Razorback Pizza. Blessed to serve you. Eat Jim's RazorbackPizza.com.
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center with exciting news about our first ever trade-in acquisition event. We need your trade, so now through Memorial Day, get your state sales tax paid when you trade for any one of our road-ready certified vehicles. That's right, state sales tax paid when you trade. Another reason all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game.
ESPN 95.3.
You're listening to The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You know, I was not built for speed. I was not what would be referred to as a stolen base threat. You know, I think when you're 6 or 7 or 8, you always think you're fast. Pee-wee ball, back when I played, it wasn't like pitching machines or anything like that, T-ball. You threw the ball and hit it. So, yeah, maybe a little bit then. But as we aged, all the other kids got faster, and I didn't. So, no, I didn't steal a lot of bases.
Evidently, a lot of those kids are wearing blue this season. Kentucky Wildcats have stolen a lot of bases this year. Lead the SEC, play baseball differently than a lot of other teams in college nowadays. And saw that firsthand, not just yesterday, but in Lexington not too long ago. Chuck's with us now. We're going to get his thoughts not only what we saw yesterday, but Tommy was kicking around the idea of what's going to happen with the SEC tournament, just the single elimination next year and the possibility of that changing in the future in just a sec.
All right, we'll do that. Check the Bet Saracen app. Boston went up 2-0 last night. We got the Western Conference Finals Game 2. Mavericks taking on the T-Wolves. All the action on that, college baseball and more, all going to be there for you in the Bet Saracen app this weekend, plus a full slate of Major League Baseball games. Now's the time to download it, get it figured out before next weekend when all the postseason begins, and you want to have fun with that. It's the Bet Saracen app. Find it in the Apple App Store or wherever you get your apps. It's Bet Saracen, Arkansas's #1 sports betting app.
Yeah, Chuck, Tommy just referenced the game last night. Halliburton has that hamstring issue in the third quarter. I counted the Pacers out after 2 games in New York, and I'm counting them out again. I could be wrong, but you think they're done? Because I sure do.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but certainly Boston was better last night, better on their home floor, and I think Boston's going to win the series, but I don't think Indiana's done, no.
I don't know. I've watched 2 games of this just from afar, but it sure seems like Boston is the more dominant team. But
Boston's better. There's no doubt about it.
But I'm going to tell you.
Boston would have beaten New York. I love the Knicks, but Boston would have beaten New York, I think.
Yeah, but
they're going to win the Eastern Conference, and I would not bet against them to win the whole thing, but we'll have to see how that works out.
No one really thought the Nuggets would fall to the T-Wolves the way that worked out either.
Yeah, I mean, it's the playoffs. It's hard to predict, but it sure looks like the Celtics are the best team in the East anyway.
I know Jaylen Brown was disappointed. Feel like he got snubbed for not making an All-NBA team, even after some of his numbers and his play this season. Maybe that will fuel him to continue to have some productive playoff games down the stretch. I still remember, I can't remember how old I was, Chuck, but I got a chance to watch Jason Tatum in high school. He's a St. Louis kid. He came down to Little Rock for the Real Deal at the Rock, and I remember watching him then. I was like, man, this kid can play. Again, you can't project and figure out what he would amount to today, but a Duke Blue Devil and then a Boston Celtic, it's crazy some of the talent that plays in Little Rock for those AAU games.
I got to referee Jason Tatum.
Oh, did you?
They came to Bentonville and played Malik Monk's team.
That's right. I forgot about
And I got the opportunity to be in that game, and no one knew then, but that was a hell of a basketball game that night at Bentonville. So there's some I don't say connection, but there's some people like you and that have gotten a chance to see him here in Arkansas back in his high school days, and no one thought he'd be probably then the best player in the NBA at some point, but that's what he's turned out to be.
We've been blessed to have some talented high school players. You referenced Malik and some other guys to watch, but it's these AAU events that you sometimes get in Northwest Arkansas and Central Arkansas that bring in some of the top-tier talent in all of college or in all of high school basketball. As it is in college baseball in Hoover, Alabama, where Arkansas fell 9-6 to the Kentucky Wildcats yesterday. Listen to Dave's press conference not that long. Mason Melita, Peyton Holt alongside them. We'll get to some of what the players had coming up, but here's first what Dave had to say just about his team and where they are right now.
Really got to give credit to Kentucky. They came out and they played a really good ball game, obviously, made all the plays defensively, a couple of really nice plays in the infield. And, when we made a mistake, they hit it out of the park for the most part. And we didn't play a clean game. The first inning, we got behind early, threw a ball away and didn't catch a ball at second. And bang, we gave 2 runs. And they're tough to catch because when they get ahead of you, they can do some things. But I was proud of our team for battling back, got back in the ball game after Peyton's swing with 2 outs, drove in 3.
And so he hits that 6-4, and you're thinking you're starting to cook a little bit. Here we go. And unfortunately, Kentucky just kept going. It was Holden, I guess Walter Schmidt were the ones that both hit 2 home runs yesterday. So the clean game, the word clean, I know you've used it, Chuck, and Dave used it too. This is some of the things that I just jotted down, like from the jump. You had the opening walk. You had the throwaway. Hudson White had the throwaway at third. You had that ball go under Stovall's glove, and that's all in the first inning, right? This isn't something that was over the course of the game. That's all in the first inning. Then you had Aloy had a misplay. You had the foul ball. I guess not foul ball. The fair ball that Peyton and Kendall Diggs collided on. It was just that's not typically what you're used to seeing with Arkansas baseball. And these last 2 games, you've had 15% of your errors on the season in 2 games, Chuck.
They didn't play well. You're right. I mean, they didn't play well. You quantified it very well there. And they're going to have to play better than that if they're going to win the regional, if they're going to get out of it. I thought they played yesterday like a team that was ready to come home, like a team that had been on the road since last Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I saw. Now, look, we've learned over the years with our teams. We've had teams that have gone 2 and out and ended up in Omaha. We've learned over the years that what happens in Hoover doesn't doesn't always have anything at all to do with what happens the next weekend. I hope that's the case this year because they didn't play very well down there. But I don't think what happened in Hoover is going to have anything to do with what happens next weekend.
Yeah,
I do feel pretty sure about that.
You mentioned the defensive problems, but was it Stovall that hit the ball that McCarthy stole from over the fence early? I thought that took some McLaughlin. Okay, I thought that took some wind out of the sails a little bit because if that ball's 3 inches higher or that dude's 2 inches shorter, that's a home run. And, I don't know that changes the course of the entire game. But, Chuck, I thought that was a momentum swing and an energy boost early for Kentucky.
Kentucky played yesterday like Arkansas has played for much of the season, minus the stolen bases. The defense, making all the plays, taking advantage of the other team's mistakes. That's winning baseball. When we use that term winning baseball, that's what winning baseball is. And that's what Kentucky played yesterday. I'm telling you, he almost caught that ball Holt hit. If you watch that replay, he timed his leap perfectly. I'm not going to go so far as to say he deserved to catch that ball, but he did everything you have to do to try to catch that ball. It barely got over his glove, and I thought he was the left fielder this time. I thought he was going to bring one back, but you got to flush that. Now, here's the thing. I suspect very strongly, knowing some of the parties involved, that they're hacked off. I mean, I got a feeling they're really hacked off right now because they did not play well down there, and they know it. Nobody's got to tell them. We can go through list after list after list of the things that they didn't do well. They know it better than anybody. My guess would be they are back with something to prove. And that you're going to see a different energy level when they play next weekend. And candidly, they've got to play a whole lot better. And, again, I'm sure they know that a lot better than we do.
Yesterday, Hagen Smith, pitcher of record, gets tagged with the first, official loss of the year. And, he had the poor performance at the beginning of the year, and we saw how he responded down in Texas following that. I'm not suggesting he's going to come out in the regional and strike out 17 batters, but, we have seen how he responds before after, less than satisfying performances. I wonder if we see something like that either Friday or Saturday next weekend. Well, only time will tell, but I'm like you. I mean, if they're not hacked off, they need to be, and I believe you're right.
I think they are. In fact, I feel pretty certain they are, and that's why, frankly, I'm not torn up about what happened in Hoover. I acknowledge very clearly they didn't play well. I mean, they didn't play well at all. But I'm not torn up about it because I've seen this happen before with our team and with other teams. People get on them a little bit. People start saying the season's over. People start saying, here we go again. Man, if you've got a competitive fiber in your body, that's got to get you going. And I think it will. Now, does that mean they end up in Omaha? Does it mean they win the whole thing? I don't know. I don't know. But I'll bet they play a whole lot better next weekend. If they don't, the season's going to end. And again, they know that better than we do.
Yeah. Brady Tiger got an inning of work, gave up 3 runs on a hit. One of those earned, walked one, struck out one in the 7 batters that he faced.
He blew up after the error. He was fine till the error, and then he blew up.
And then he had one of the 3 errors, as you mentioned. Well, how do you feel about, it's been a while since we've seen Brady. How do you feel about the limited work we saw?
He was fine until the error. Okay. I just saw a guy blow up after that.
Yeah, here's what Dave said on Tiger, because you said kind of the same thing, Chuck.
I thought Tiger was really good for an inning. Had a hitter down 0-2 and just made a really big mistake, and he unloaded on it. It's little careless things like that. Balls hit off the end of the bat, spinning like a top. You don't feel it with one hand, you feel it with 2. You don't run away from it. Ball spun right out of his glove. When you're older, you know that. Freshman, the younger guy, it doesn't happen again down the road. But that inning couldn't happen right there. That was frustrating. But other than that, Tiger's first inning, man, he looked really good. His breaking ball going, spotting his fastball down, had a little movement, a little sink.
Now, I will say, listening to Dave yesterday, he made that reference again to the veteran. So you could tell he was a little frustrated. And I don't know if nonchalant is the right word with Brady, because, the spin on the ball was nuts. But he was kind of ticked off that he didn't do what veterans do, 2 hands on the ball, the glove and that, and make the play on it. Again, that's not, people just look at that and it's an easy play. He had one. If you watch the 6th where he cleaned up, he had a similar type of play and he made it easily. And just that one didn't go his way, unfortunately.
Well, and you're right. All the things that you're saying are right. And sometimes a coach says something and everybody feels like, it's okay for us to magnify it. Let's not go overboard with what happened in Hoover.
Yeah.
Let's just not, because we've seen this enough to know that it just generally doesn't have anything to do with the regional. Now, again, if they don't play better, the season's going to end. But I believe they will.
So you've seen Dave up close and personal in this situation.
It's been a while, but yes.
But how do you think he handles the team? You came back yesterday. You got a holiday weekend. You don't play for 7 days. Is this a get back and grind, get to work approach, or is it, hey, give these guys some time off, some rest, go see your girlfriends, go to the lake, go see your families. Let's come back Monday and get after it. How does, in your opinion, how does Dave approach coming off of Hoover, being on the road, as you mentioned, for a while? What happens the next 2 or 3 days with this team?
Well, there's still a day-to-dayness to baseball. And, we've kind of talked about this during this week that, a lot of that's broken up now, as you get into the postseason. So, hey, it wouldn't surprise me at all. And I don't know what their plans are. I know at least the plan was to fly back last night, and I'm assuming that they were able to do that. I wouldn't suspect there'd be a whole lot today, but neither would I suspect him to say, hey, I'll see you Monday. I would not expect that. Nor would I expect the players to say, Coach, I'll see you Monday. I wouldn't expect that either.
Phil,
so I would think there'd be some things done over the weekend.
Phil made a good point. He jumped on us for Hog Reaction yesterday, and it's the first time since February that they haven't had baseball on the weekend. And I didn't think about it like that, but Thursday for some people is the start of the weekend, but Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they're off technically, and you kind of recalibrate and adjust. And to your point about this not being, I wholeheartedly agree. I said it probably 100 times on the postgame show yesterday. The last 2 College World Series appearances, Arkansas is 1-4 in Hoover. 2019, 2022.
You can say that about most of the SEC teams that have won the national championship.
Yep, 1-7.
Vanderbilt is maybe the last and one of the handful of teams that have won it in Hoover and then went on to win it all.
LSU's done it a time or two.
Okay.
LSU's done it a time or two.
I think 2019.
But it's the exception, not the rule.
Yeah, 2019.
No, you're right. There's no doubt about it.
5 years ago. So, there's a good chunk of data between now and then that shows that it's not the end of the world. And we were talking with Nick Schmidt, who joined us yesterday. If you missed that conversation, it'll be in the Bud Light Morning Rush podcast or whatever. And he even, I just asked him, it's not like the SEC was chopped liver back when you were playing, but how much has it been amped up? And he was honest and open. It's just a new level of baseball right now. When you look at the last 5 years, think about this, every SEC West team, with the exception of Alabama, has made it to Omaha, and 3 of them won the national title. And that's the division you have to compete in each and every year.
And Ty, it's going to get more dominant because as more money flows into this conference, and now, we're going to get into the lawsuit, more money's going to flow back to the athletes. The rich are going to get richer. So everything you're saying is right, but I think it's only going to be compounded, Chuck, because there's going to be more resources for the players available financially and otherwise at SEC schools. So, the best players in their group are always going to be in the SEC, I believe, because the best facilities, the most money, and you can just keep going down the list is going to be here. So as dominant as it is now, I think it's only going to be more so dominant and difficult in this league.
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt it's going to get better. One of the things that I've kind of been paying attention to and will continue to pay attention to is I believe the demise of the Pac-12 helps the SEC and the Big 12 in baseball, perhaps the ACC, conferences that put money into it, I guess is what I'm saying. There's a lot of kids. There's a lot of baseball players in California. And I don't know how many of those kids, first off, the programs out there, while they are good programs, are underfunded, by and large, people don't pay attention to them. They don't have 10,000 people at their ball games for sure. And now they're going to have to go play, pardon me, a conference ball game in, the Eastern time zone where it's cold in March, where you're lucky if you can get a game in. I just think that's going to continue to benefit the conferences that are in warmer weather climates and put money into baseball.
It is still weird to me. Musk posted this picture of him and Danielle, and it's Big Ten Media Days for USC. I know we've had to compute and wrap our minds around a bunch of things lately, but I still can't. I can fathom Texas and Oklahoma being the league because of the regionality of it, but USC and the Big Ten is still odd to me, and it's going to take me a while to again recalibrate and remember kind of where these conferences and what teams are in them.
And I don't even think every Big Ten team has a baseball team even. I'm pretty sure Wisconsin doesn't have baseball. So, I mean.
Is that a Title IX there just because of the cold?
I would assume.
No, they've never had University of Wisconsin, as long as I can remember, has not fielded a baseball team.
Yeah, so.
Because I can remember when, like, for example, you remember Eric Hensky. He played for Arkansas in baseball and ended up playing in the big leagues for a long time. He was from Wisconsin.
Oh, wow.
The baseball option then was Wisconsin-Oshkosh, and the University of Wisconsin offered him a football scholarship, but they didn't have baseball, and he wanted to play baseball. So ultimately he came to Arkansas as a baseball player and ended up, he may still in the big leagues, I think, as a coach. So, they haven't ever had baseball. The climate just doesn't allow it, and that's my point, is a kid from Southern California who's been playing every day for his whole life and who thinks he's going to be in the big leagues. Back in the day, he'd go play for UCLA or one of those teams on the West Coast, and he could continue to do that every day, and his life didn't change. Well, now if you sign with one of these schools, you're going to see some places you've never seen before, but it sure isn't going to be like what it is in other spots. So I'm just not sure. Again, everything's focused on football and to a degree basketball, but spring sports are affected a lot. And I think the demise of the Pac-12 has done a lot to hurt college baseball, in terms of the schools there. Hey, if you're buying or selling a home, I know Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company, will never steer you wrong. First off, the line of communication is going to be great, and that's important. You may be in a situation where you have to move. You've been transferred, you're moving somewhere, you got to sell your home. You may be in a situation where your family's grown. You got to buy a home. Maybe you want to downsize, whatever your situation. The one thing I do know about Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company, is you're going to deal with a real estate professional. You're going to deal with someone who listens to your situation and applies their knowledge to your specific situation, whether you're buying or selling. That's important. That was my experience with them. And I think that'll be your experience too. Now, they're in Northwest Arkansas, Washington and Benton counties. They're in Fort Smith. You've heard us talk about their office in Branson. They've got a wide selection of homes right there on their website. You can check them out at WeichertGriffin.com.
We don't have too much longer this segment. We were just talking about climate in terms of weather. The climate of college sports has changed dramatically these last couple of years. NIL, more transfers with the transfer portal. Well, something else came down yesterday where the NCAA and Power 5 schools agreed to pay an insane amount of money. I think it was over $2.7 billion of damages to past and current athletes who, at the time, were not allowed to collect NIL because they were deemed student athletes. And guys, we've only got 3 or 4 minutes and we got plenty of time to talk about this, but I jotted about 10, 15 things just off the top of my head.
What do you think?
We've talked about the athletics departments changing and shrinking. I asked Hunter about that. That's going to happen. You're going to see, unfortunately, some people lose their jobs at the University of Arkansas and other institutions. The gap that you always talk about, Tommy, is going to be as wide as it's ever been in college sports. And I hate that because there are some – I love the Arkansas Razorbacks through and through, but there's some really good athletic and academic institutions in our state that are just going to get pelted like every other smaller school across the way. You're going to have I still think that the big dogs like the Blue Bloods are not only going to have that $20 million that they're going to get to be able to pay athletes, but they're also still going to have big NIL accounts that they can add to. So it's not just going to be $20 million. You'll have these like insane salary caps that others just won't be able to compete with. I understand the rationale and reasoning, but when we look back 5-10 years down the road, this is not going to be good for college sports.
Well, before we really delve into this, maybe when we get to the top of the hour, let's go back and explain clearly exactly what's happened over the last 24, 48 hours that has set all this up. College sports is going to change. I happen to think this is good. I think it's the best of a bad situation. Let me put it that way. The NIL model in its current form is not sustainable. It needs to go away. The idea that you're asking a working person to give money so that college kid can live better than you do is absurd. And that model will not last. This is a revenue sharing model. We're going to focus on the fact, and we'll be all guilty of this, we'll focus on the fact that athletes in the past are going to be, at least back to 2016, are going to be paid some sort of compensation for their name, image, and likeness. There were 3 antitrust lawsuits that were filed against the NCAA. They've been settled, and that's what's brought all this about. Rather than take this to trial and run the risk of losing $20 to $30 billion, they've settled for the astronomical sum of somewhere around $2.7 billion. They've been arguing, not really arguing, but part of the settlement has been trying to determine who was going to pay what. They've been bickering over somewhere between a 60-40 split. The NCAA is going to have to pay over 50%, and the schools are going to be on the hook for the other. That includes Arkansas. Now, they're going to pay their share out of a reduced revenue share from the SEC. We need to get into this a little bit more before we start talking about the ramifications.
Yeah.
But when we get to the top of the hour, Ty, let's go back and explain this before we start talking about the ramifications, because I don't think most people really understand what this is.
Yeah, and I think the league office staff is going to be reduced too as a result of all of this.
Lots of jobs will be reduced. That's for sure.
Largemouth bass have been spawning, and now's the time to catch them across Arkansas and Oklahoma. The famous Yum Dinger is what you need to take along this Memorial Day weekend. They make them in Arkansas in 3, 4, 5, and 6-inch sizes. They're in tackle boxes of bass anglers all over the United States and around the world. Get that wacky rigging, use the 5-inch model. You'll have a great Memorial Day weekend on the water. Find the Yum Dinger at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. It's the Yum Dinger made by Pradco.
We'll talk more about that coming up.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Home is everything. It's your sanctuary, your command center, your music room, and your art studio. It's where you eat family dinners and make lasting memories. When you use a Weichert agent to help you find your home, we'll help you find the space to make it yours. When you begin your search, know that a Weichert agent will be there with you every step of the way. Because at Weichert Realtors, we guide you home. To get started, call your local Weichert agent and look for our bright yellow signs all over town. At Weichert Realtors, we sell more because we do more. Each Weichert franchised office is independently owned and operated.
Roll into the season at WT Equipment. Get ready to roll with strong savings on hay tools, compact and mid-range tractors, and even our large commercial-grade hay equipment. Find out and save $5,000, $10,000, or more in cash back. Or get 0% financing for up to 48 months on hay tools, 60 months on mid-range tractors, and up to 72 months on compacts. Hurry, offer ends June 30th for commercial use only. Customer participation subject to credit qualification and CNH Industrial Capital America LLC approval. Standard terms, conditions, and other restrictions apply. Down payment may be required. WT Equipment, your partner in progress.
Tommy Kraft here for The Fenceman, the company you can trust when it comes to building your next fence. The Fenceman recently built new gates for my existing fence. The whole process was easy, quick, and most importantly, affordable. Plus, 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available with The Fenceman. If you need a new fence, gate, or anything that involves a fence, call The Fenceman, 479-782-3936. That's 782-3936. The Fenceman. He ain't afraid of no work.
That's the $1 million question.
This is the Morning Rush.
Get 1.9% financing for well-qualified buyers on a GMC Sierra 1500 at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The 24 GMC Sierra 1500 has a 5.3-liter V8 engine, so you can conquer the road with confidence. Get 1.9% financing and $3,250 in purchase allowance when you trade an eligible vehicle. See the new GMC Sierra 1500 at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. We are professional grade. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
I'm Jim Cash III, owner of the Diamond Center. I invite you to come visit us for all your jewelry needs, including celebrations, purchases, repurposing, or jewelry repairs. The Diamond Center offers the largest selection of engagement rings in the area, along with complete custom design for all those special occasions. My family's legacy in jewelry goes back 4 generations. We strive for excellent customer service, integrity in our pricing, and jewelry of the very best quality and craftsmanship. This is all backed by our exclusive free lifetime warranty. Come see us at the Diamond Center, celebrating a legacy of love.
At Southern Tire Mart, we look out for you and your vehicle. Come visit us for America's most trusted brands like Michelin Tires and top-of-the-line service. You can depend on Southern Tire Mart and Michelin Tires to keep you rolling. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 exit 14 in Fort Smith, for Michelin tires that fit your needs and service that cares for you like family.
Pay attention. This happens fast. You need money. You get a job. Turns out that job doesn't pay near enough for the nonsense it puts you through every day. You want to move fast. The clock moves slow. You're smart, though. You know machines. You want to work at a place as fast as you. You call Medley Equipment Company. They need a technician, and they'll teach you everything you need to know to be the best, with pay raises all along. Because Medley keeps you moving.
I'm Branch Manager Dennis Mabry. Visit medleycompany.com or see us at 4001 Harper Avenue, Fort Smith, Arkansas.
Are you an angler having trouble finding all the bait, tackle, and more for your fishing needs? Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, now located in Fort Smith next to Witts Marine on North 11th Street, is your place. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle also has the largest selection of plastics in the River Valley. Reactor Innovation, Bobby Garland, Zoom, Mega Bass, and more. Check out the Daiwa Rod and Reels. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, 803 North 11th Street in Fort Smith, 479-926-9320. Also get your rod and reels repaired. Come see us next to Witts Marine at Make a Wake Bait and Tackle.
If you are involved in a divorce or custody case, you want an attorney you can trust to guide you through the process. The attorneys at Hickey & Hole Law Partners have over 7 decades of combined experience. Hickey & Hole have seen and heard nearly every scenario you can imagine, ready to put that experience to work for you to get the best results. Visit kevinhickeylaw.com or give them a call today, 479-434-2414. Hickey & Hole Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Active weather expected to push through today. We could see the potential for up to quarter-size hail, winds up to 60 miles per hour, and a chance of a few isolated tornadoes today. Our high temperatures this afternoon into the lower 80s. Another chance of some showers and scattered thunderstorms later tonight, and overnight low 60s. I'm Sally Russell with the forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by In Good Spirits, Fort Smith's premier source for fine wines, specialty beers, and
The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 97 days.
Be a 1-2 on Hudson Polk. He swings and misses, and the Hogs go 2 and out in the SEC tournament this year. A home run by Jared Sprague-Lott in the 9th inning. Nothing else. 9-6. Kentucky over Arkansas. Cats took 3 out of 4 from the Razorbacks this year.
You know, we've been on the road about a week. I didn't like the outcome, but we've got a big week ahead of us, and we got to get ready for next weekend.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studio. Heard all across ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Hit that line.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You're in need of a serious attitude adjustment, young man. You better get your priorities straight.
Produced by Kristen Johnston.
In spite of the juvenile snickers of some, this is a serious matter.
Call or text the Morning Rush on the McCarty Daniel hotline. With 6 locations in Springdale and Bensenville, a good deal is never too far away.
You don't need to wear a ball cap, man. You need to let those golden locks flow.
Sure, Dave, they're talking about this team and what happened, not just yesterday, but really the last 2 days in Hoover, Alabama. Disappointing. I know for him, he's frustrated. We're going to see how this team responds. We're going to see who they're going to play on Monday at 11 a.m. on ESPN2. We'll see what seed they are on Sunday night, so it's a little bit of waiting between now and then. So we'll talk some baseball coming up. I do want to come back to the 3 lawsuits that were settled with the NCAA because I think it's the big story. A lot of you always have questions about NIL and the current structure and how it could change. Well, it's going to change. So we'll come back to that at some point here on the Morning Rush here on a Fastball Friday.
Hey, if you're looking for the right financing to remodel your current home or build a new one, it's easier than ever when you stop by Farm Credit in one of their 25 locations in Arkansas. Let their expert guides at Farm Credit of Western Arkansas help you from start to finish, or you can log on to myaglender.com. That's myaglender.com to see all the financing options that they offer. Farm Credit of Western Arkansas, making dreams come true for more than 100 years.
So a lot of you have asked already this morning on the McCarty Daniel hotline, hey, what's Dave's message? What do you say after 2 losses? Well, when asked about that, here's what he said.
Well, get back and rest up just a little bit. The message out there was this is where we wanted to be. As far as we know, we're going to be in a regional, a really good opportunity to host, and it's time to take a step forward. You know, and kind of went backwards a couple weeks ago, sideways. We've been up and down. We need to make a move and finish this thing up right.
And when it comes to what happened in Hoover the last 2 days, I don't think it's just the last 2 days. It's the fact that this baseball team has lost 7 of 10. Now, of those 10 losses, I guess, 5 of them have been to national seeds between the 3 losses to Kentucky and the 2 losses to Texas A&M. So it's not like you're playing chopped liver, right? And the other teams are NCAA tournament squads in South Carolina and Mississippi State. But that being said, you would like to see this team play better than they have. And I know hitting has been an issue. You look at these last 2 games, I think they've had 18 or 19 hits these last 2 games, if I remember that right. It was the fielding guys that just came out of nowhere. And I know it was a little different being at 9:30 in the morning. Hagan was only going to pitch a couple innings, but you expect some guys to in the infield, the outfield to help you out, and that just didn't happen yesterday.
Yeah, 9 hits in each of the last 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think we have a tendency to focus on specific areas. I just didn't think they played well overall. They didn't play well yesterday, and they didn't play particularly well the day before. I think they know that. I hear you on, the trend, and that's understandable that people would focus on the last 10 ball games. But it is going to be 1 week from today before they play again. A lot's going to change. Not just with that team. I mean, a lot's going to happen to everybody over the next 7 days. Your outlook next Friday may not be anything resembling what your outlook is today for any of us. So I think it's going to be a lot different next weekend. That could be good. That could be bad. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't read anything into next weekend based on what happened this week in Hoover.
I mean, we hyper-focus on our perspective, and rightfully so, but think about where LSU and Vanderbilt's mindsets with their fan bases were entering this week at Hoover. Would you say disappointing seasons for Vanderbilt and LSU based on the regular season? I would think that it didn't meet their standard, but look at both of these teams. They've won a couple of games, and now they have the day off, and they'll await the winners of today's games, in the conference tournament semifinals. You talk about things changing in a week. A lot, I think, has changed for LSU and Vanderbilt. So we get hyper-focused on what happens here, but to your point, I think it's been a hell of a turnaround for both of those teams this week, and I just use that as an example of, hey, Arkansas can play much better baseball 7 days from now.
Yeah, and those teams.
Everyone can.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Those teams that you just referenced get the bye today. They will not play till Saturday as Kentucky takes on South Carolina, and then Tennessee takes on Mississippi State for the elimination games.
I wouldn't go as far as to say they were, riding the bubble and needed these wins to secure a spot in the tournament. But Chuck, we were talking about LSU and Vandy being 3 seeds and where they might go, and I think they've certainly improved their stock with how they've performed so far this week.
No doubt. I think they have. If you really look at the history of this tournament, it's gone about like it's gone a lot of years. For whatever reason, LSU and Vanderbilt always make runs at the conference tournament. I can't tell you why. I don't know, but they always seem to. One of the Mississippi schools always seems to get hot. I know Mississippi State, at least I think they lost late last night, really late last night. I think they lost their game. But Vanderbilt and LSU are playing better, and they'll be a 2 seed somewhere, and they'll be a tough out.
But it's been a different week for them. So, I think the rest, I think you mentioned something earlier that hasn't been considered or talked about enough, and that's the fact that Arkansas went on the road to College Station. They left I guess they left on
Wednesday.
Did they leave Wednesday to get there? Yeah, got there Wednesday.
Yeah, they played Thursday, so they left Wednesday.
And then did not return back to Fayetteville till last night. That's a long time on the road. And I think that when you look at the mindset and you look at long road trips, I think people get a little bit weary towards the end of them. And I think being at home has more value, not just because you're in your own facility and you sleep in your own bed and all the old cliches, but these guys like their comfort, their creature comforts, and all of the things that are around them, their girlfriends, and their favorite eating spots. And I think we don't value that enough, and the effect a long road trip like that can have.
Well, I think after a long while, you're ready to get home.
Yeah,
that's why I said I just thought they played yesterday like they were ready to come home. But I also heard a tone in Coach Van Horn's voice there in the soundbite that you just played. They are where they wanted to be. This is where they planned on being at the beginning of the year. Playing at home, chance to stay at home until you go to Omaha, in all probability. But I also suspect he challenged them and will challenge them. Phil made the point on the broadcast yesterday that he talked to him in the outfield a lot longer than he normally does.
Yeah.
I doubt, what he said to you a minute ago and what his message was. Didn't take as long they were out there a lot longer than it would have taken to say that. So I'm sure that he said a lot more than that. I'm sure he challenged him, and I'm sure he will. And every other coach who hears their team's name announced on Monday is going to challenge their team too. And Monday afternoon by about 1, 2 o'clock, there's going to be 64 teams that have mapped out their road to the national championship. Every single one of them's figured out a way how they're going to Omaha. And then Friday, some will begin the process of getting their hearts broken, and that's just how it works.
Yep, and here's how Peyton Holt kind of still looks at this season.
You're playing all year to get to Omaha, and this is where it starts. And so we've been preparing for this since August. And we're really not going to change much. We're going to do our work, be intentional, and take it day by day.
All right, so we'll be ready. And then, of course, like I said, we'll find out over the weekend your national seeding, and then Monday who's coming to Fayetteville for the regional. One place you can find out together how the weekend's going to go is at TGI Fridays. It is Friday, so celebrate the weekend with happy hour today from 3 to 6, and again from 9 to close. Half-price drinks and $5 appetizers twice today. 3 to 6, and again, 9 to close. We're talking their potato skins, some spinach dip, mozzarella sticks, and a lot of things that are on that appetizer menu. And all your favorite refreshing summer drinks, half price today. Again, from 3 to 6 and 9 to close. TGI Fridays, 540 and Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
When we return, we're going to get into, are you in favor of in-game interviews in baseball? I'm not at all. That's our Morning Rush Daily Question, and it's next.
ESPN Arkansas and Phil Elson are live at the 2024 SEC Baseball Tournament. Our coverage is presented by the Stadium Shop on Razorback, your Omaha's headquarters, the largest selection of Razorback merchandise south of the North Pole. Shop on Razorback.com. It doesn't get any more Razorback than the Stadium Shop. Kofer's Boat Center, Kofer's Cofer's huge selection of new boats can be seen on their website, Cofers.com. That's COPHERS.com. Cofer's Boat Center, providing family fun since 1971.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This is the Morning Rush.
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center with exciting news about our first ever trade-in acquisition event. We need your trade, so now through Memorial Day, get your state sales tax paid when you trade for any one of our road-ready certified vehicles. That's right, state sales tax paid when you trade. Another reason all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
Are you ready to indulge in an unforgettable fine dining experience? Then come join us at Uncorked, where every meal is a masterpiece, crafted with the finest ingredients to tantalize your taste buds. And with our extensive selection of cocktails, wine, craft beer, and bourbons, we've got something for everyone. So why not take a break from the ordinary and join us on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodi's? Come savor the moment with us at Uncorked, where every visit is a celebration.
This is Daryl Johnston with Hashtag Managed IT Services. We are excited to now be part of AAA Business Systems. Hashtag will continue to handle every IT need your business will have, and now, as part of AAA Business Systems, we can handle all of your document printing and storage solutions. Together, we have the expertise to meet all of your office technology needs. Find us online at aaabm.com or call us at 471-1771.
The paint store in Van Buren is still the place to go to when doing the job right really matters. Our unique line of Richards paint products was chosen by me to perform for you. This is Sue, and my 35 years of experience ensures you get the right paint and the right color. That's important to you and me. Thank you for your support. Come see what I'm talking about. 1414 Fayetteville Road, the paint store, Van Buren.
Hey, Hog fans, this is Robert.
This is Elizabeth.
And this is Matt, and we're with the Stadium Shop on Razorback in Fayetteville.
Hey, do y'all know what time it is?
It's about 2:30.
Summertime?
It's that and a whole lot more.
And no matter what's happening, the Stadium Shop has what you need.
We have the best selection for showing off your Razorback spirit while on vacation, even Razorback swim trunks.
Graduations, anniversaries, birthdays, we have what you need for your event.
And we have what you need for that trip to Omaha.
Even a new line of hard shell luggage.
Also, Omaha tees, flags, bases loaded hats, and the boppers.
And you can get them here at the Stadium Shop located at 989 South Razorback Road next to Baum Walker Stadium. Or you can check us online at those WWNs.
Dad, let me do that before you hurt yourself. He's talking about our website, shoponrazorback.com.
And if you can't reach us there, call us at 479-STADIUM.
All from the only family, alumni-owned and operated Razorback store.
South of the North Pole.
Dad, please.
Folks, it does not get more Razorback than us.
Go
Hogs.
Are you ready to work for one of the area's premier companies? If so, Forsgren wants to offer you a rewarding new career. Forsgren has been building the foundation of the River Valley for over 80 years. Forsgren is recruiting for experienced concrete finishers, equipment operators, truck drivers, and laborers. Forsgren is a destination point for men and women with a drive toward excellence. Join the Forsgren legacy. Apply now on any device, anywhere at goforsgren.com. That's goforsgren.com. Forsgren Incorporated is an equal opportunity employer.
The Newmeyer family knows how important Arkansas baseball is to the River Valley. And that's why you can watch the Omahags at any of their 3 restaurants. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, the Rib Room, and their newest restaurant, the Whippoorwill. Have you seen the giant TV? It's insane. Plus, you're going to get that great Southern cooking and the great pizza at Papa's and the great barbecue at Rib Room. Where do you need to watch the Omahags? That's any of the 3 great restaurants from the Newmeyer.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. It's time for the Red River Dodge Morning Rush Daily Question. Red River Dodge in Heber Springs, Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. Log on at redriverdodge.com.
Your Honor, I'd like to ask for a recess. I'd like an answer to the question, Judge.
The corporal will wait for an answer.
I do enjoy conversations that sideline reporters have with football coaches coming off the field or after wins or losses, and the same goes for basketball coaches. But I am not a fan of what they have to do during baseball season, specifically college baseball. Dave Van Horn had some comments on Wednesday following the loss to South Carolina. He's really talking about the greatness of Messina, who's had an outstanding SEC tournament to this point. Here's what he had to say.
Right, left. They don't really have too many holes in that lineup. And, we maneuvered through it pretty good except for one guy, and he killed us. The one off Coyle hits the first batter he faces, a left-handed hitter. That's somebody we really needed him to get out. I was still finishing up my interview, so I'm not sure exactly what pitch he hit, but he hit it, and I watched it.
So I'm usually pro-fan, but I don't get any value out of these. So our Morning Rush Daily Question, do you even like these in-game interviews? Because I don't see any usefulness to them at all in baseball.
I thought the one, I think they're entertaining, and I think sometimes you learn some things or something entertains you. I thought Nick Magnon yesterday, Kentucky's coach, when he was talking about McCarthy and catching that ball and the conversation, the interaction they had, and the player said, "Hey, I've never done that before." He goes, "Well, you have now," and kind of giving the backstory. I think sometimes they are very good, but I think mostly you get stock answers, and you probably don't get a lot of insight. But there's the problem with it. What Dave just said, Chuck. He's doing his interview and has no idea what pitch it was.
Well, it's, my opinion on these things is that they're silly, number one. Number two is I don't know why they don't record them.
Mm-hmm.
Why do they do them live? Like when you're watching an NBA playoff game and they interview the coaches all the time. The NBA really is the one that got all this started, the in-game interviews with the coaches. But they record them during the timeouts. As soon as the timeout is called, they're over there recording the interview. And then the coach leaves and goes to the huddle. In baseball, they do this stuff live. And it's because of it's an internal decision. And it's because for whatever reason they don't want to commit to what has to be done to do this thing in a short amount of time and record it and play it back. There's equipment that's involved and things of that nature. And for whatever reason, that's not the way they do it. I don't care for in-game interviews, but I can live with them. But I think this live stuff while the game's going on, if I was a coach, I'd say I'm not doing it. And it sounds like they're pretty close to doing that.
Yeah, and I understand if you want to interview like Hagan the day before, the day after he pitches, that's that to me. But in the middle of an inning, and as crucial as certain plays and certain things, even certain pitches are, I mean, that's everything to a coach. But I like if you're going to compromise on it, then do what Chuck said. Do it during the break of an inning.
Yeah, I mean, but baseball's the only one that does this on a routine basis. And what I mean by this is live in-game interviews. In football, it's at halftime or coming off the field following the game. You mentioned the timeouts in the NBA. No one's sticking a microphone in your face or a headset on your ears to talk to the guys in the booth during live action other than baseball. If it's going on, I can't recall or know of anywhere else this happens on a regular basis.
Well, part of my issue with it is just the nature of a conversation between a broadcast crew that's in a booth and a coach or a player that's on the field. The pattern always begins with the play-by-play guy asking some kind of lighthearted question, because things are lighthearted up in the booth. When you're in the dugout, things aren't lighthearted, and they're in two different worlds right there. And the play-by-play guy will ask a lighthearted question, and the coach will look a little irritated while he's answering it, try to give a short answer. Then the analyst will ask a baseball question, and the coach will spend a little time answering the baseball question. And then the play-by-play guy will wrap it all up by asking some silly question again. And the guy takes his headset off and gets back to managing the game. And I don't see the purpose in it. That's just my opinion. And I'm a broadcaster. So, I understand the value in all this, and I know why they do it. And the points you made, Tommy, are right. But not every coach approaches it that way. And unfortunately, not every coach is ahead when you interview him. Yeah. It's a lot more fun to be glib and a lot easier to be entertaining when your team's up 2-0 than it is when your team just kicked the ball around and fell behind, or your team gives up a home run while you're being talked to. That happened with Schlossnagle the other night. He just took his headset off and walked away.
Yeah, but it is a chance to humanize these coaches. It is, it is a chance to hear from them somewhere other than a press conference setting. You're right, coaches do approach it different. It is a chance for them to market themselves a little bit. But I can only imagine, what if Chuck Barrett tried to take a phone call during the middle of a Razorback football game? Your focus and your rhythm and everything else is broken, right? But if you had to take that phone call and you were required to in the middle of the second quarter, it would take you a little bit to kind of get back in your rhythm and your focus and what you're doing.
Well, unfortunately, when they do it like this, the focus turns to the coach. But I understand how this works, and you guys do too. I love the SEC network. I'm glad they're there, and I'm glad they televise a lot of events. But, man, they operate on the cheap. They do. They operate on the cheap, just like I guess a lot of places do. It would require a little bit more effort and expense on their part to record these things between half innings. I know how I understand the setup. It would require a little bit more effort and expense in terms of personnel and things like that. And for whatever reason, they just don't want to do it. It's easier to do it live from the booth. Mm-hmm. Well, that puts the onus on the coach. The average viewer out there has no understanding that, well, if they just, put a little bit more into it, they could record this between half innings, and the coach would probably be better because he wouldn't be so irritated or at least preoccupied. Viewers don't understand that. They just understand, well, that coach is a jerk. Well, it's not really that coach's fault for being a jerk. It's because the network operates on the cheap and they won't, commit to doing this between half innings. That's my opinion, and I'm sure there's probably people that disagree with that.
I'm sure you would love to get a phone call in the second quarter
of
I've
football. Gotten them, but it's usually from friends and family.
Hey, what are you doing?
It's like our job. Thank you very much.
I can't get in. I'm at gate 4. I can't get in. My ticket doesn't work.
Yeah.
That's usually how it goes.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That is your Morning Rush daily question, brought to you by our friends at Red River Dodge in Heber Springs, Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. Log on at redriverdodge.com to the home of the Yellow Jackets, where Melvin is patiently waiting before we talk with Scott Tabor. What's going on, Melvin?
I just had a couple of questions for y'all. If our hitting coach was like the offensive line coach for the football team last year, I believe there'd be a little bit of heat on his seat. Next thing is, if you got 3 catchers, 6 outfielders, 2 third basemen, do you really have anything at those positions? Is it like 2 quarterbacks, no quarterbacks? By now, you would think somebody would have crawled and scratched your way to the top and helped. Got those positions locked down to where we're not musical chairs on the baseball team.
I think the catcher position's locked down. Hudson White's been terrific
catcher
lately.
position's locked down.
Yeah,
they rotate those other guys as DHs some.
Yeah.
but White's the catcher.
Yeah, and in regards to the left field, I thought Edmondson was pretty good. He had 2 hits and I think 6 appearances. He pinch hit 1 and then started yesterday. He almost had a great diving catch against the Wildcats. I don't know if that gives him the supreme lead for the start next week, but I do agree. It is disappointing that you're about to be in the Fayetteville Regional. You still don't know lock down who your left fielder is. I'll agree with that. As far as Nate Thompson goes, you can ask a lot of players that have come to Arkansas. Not that the facility wasn't a big deal, but Nate Thompson has had a lot to do with that. And I know that the hitting wasn't great this year, and it hasn't been, but hopefully it improves in the coming weeks. We'll just have to wait and see. All right, let's talk to Scott Tabor on the Morning Rush.
Let's talk to former Razorback pitcher Scott Tabor on the Morning Rush. Our conversation with Scott is brought to you by Alumni Hall, your ultimate Razorback shopping experience. Located next to Whole Foods in Fayetteville, or shop alumnihall.com. Alumni Hall, where Razorback fans shop.
Go crazy at Paul Walker! Go nuts!
Scott, we hadn't talked much about Hagen's loss of velocity yet, and I was kind of saving that question for you. That was something I saw a lot of Razorback fans pointing to and just wondering about. He goes 2 innings. Dave talked about it before the game, after the game. That was kind of the plan, so I wasn't really shocked by that. But what did you make of him being kind of in the low 90s, a few miles per hour lower than he usually is?
Oh, woe is me. I wish I could have dropped down to the low 90s. That would have been a pretty good thing. A lot of leg fatigue, back fatigue. You talk about arm. People say, well, his arm is tired. His arm's probably not tired. Legs are the first thing that go. You lose velocity when your legs get a little tired. Playing in really, really hot weather, a little bit heavier air. Not as big a deal as people put it, as they want it to be. If you spot your pitches and you're still changing up speeds and pitching, it shouldn't be that big of an issue. They look at too many analytics, I think, sometimes. They always spin rates down. Well, is the wind blowing at you? Is the wind blowing against you? Is the wind blowing sideways? All those things affect spin. All those things affect velocity. So I don't think it's as big a deal as people think.
And Nick Schmidt, we'd had him on yesterday, and he was talking about it was more of like spotting pitches back when he was playing than actual velocity and the spin rate, as you referred to. A guy that has a lot of spin rate is Brady Tiger. And if you look at Brady's 6th inning, it was really good. 3 up, 3 down, got it done quick, and then the 7th inning kind of got away from him with that the grounder that he misplayed. How much do you think that affected him, and how are you feeling about Tiger heading into next weekend where they're going to need him?
I think his stuff is more mental fatigue. He and Melina both, I think they had a little mental fatigue. Getting that 5 inches between your ears right is a big deal, because it's not like they all of a sudden don't have good stuff. They've got great stuff. The mental part of it is putting it where it needs to be, not putting it down the middle of the plate, not making those mistakes, because hitters are going to hit mistakes. That's what big hits come on. They don't come on a great pitch. Very rarely do they come on a great pitch. The greatest hitters will hit anything, but 99% of the other guys, they hit mistakes. So not making mistakes is a whole lot better than making all great pitches. It's just mistakes are the ones that get hit. So I think this is going to be a get your mind right week, because it's not like we don't have the talent. Our pitchers don't all of a sudden not have velocity. They can't throw their pitches. They can't do this, can't do that. They just have to go out and perform. And the attitude will change from the conference tournament to it's win or go home, and they know that, and that puts a little bit more immediacy on it.
Yeah. And how do you shift that mindset, Scott? I mean, because you're right, it's not immediately win or go home in a regional, but it's 2 of 3 the following weekend. It's you got to win 2 in a row really to have a great chance to win a regional, and the pressure. How do you change gears on that mindset once you reach this point in the season?
Well, I know Norm would have helped speed that process up quite a bit. I don't know how. I know Dave's a very intense person. I don't think he's as loud as Norm used to be, or as physical. We'd probably have a couple of days off getting back today. He'd probably have today off and tomorrow off. We'd all be going fishing and doing whatever we would do, trying to find out where we're going to go to a regional. Now they find out who's going to come to their regional. So totally different time in the program. But Norm would have sped that up. the sense of urgency would have been there because Norm said it was, and you would know it, and it would be in everything we did. The workouts would be a little bit more intense. Grunders, as he used to call them, would be a little bit harder. Batting practice would be a little bit more intense. And so it just picks up, and as a player, these guys they grew up playing tournaments, high-profile tournaments. That's what they did. That's what travel ball is all about. And so tournament play is a little different, and I loved it. I always enjoyed going to tournaments and playing tournaments and seeing different teams coming in instead of playing the same guys that you have all the information on and the newness of it.
Yeah. Scott Tabor with us on the McClarty Daniel Hotline. It's brought to you by Alumni Hall. 5 errors in 2 games in Hoover. This is a team that's been in the 970s, approaching 980 defensively, and been one of the better defensive teams all season. What do you make of the lack of cleanliness in their defense the last couple of games?
Well, this season, this team is built on good pitching, great defense, not great hitting. This team is a pitching and defense team. If the defense goes away, we're not going to be very good or if the pitching goes away, we're not going to be very good. They both pick each other up, and we have to have enough hitting and enough base runners to get by. So, errors happen. And that's why you go a whole season. And nobody's perfect through a whole season. This was our time in the barrel. It seems like once they happen, it's just one guy missed a ground ball, another guy missed a ground ball. The ball to Tiger, the high spin. Those are not easy plays, but you got to know as a veteran that you got to clinch it down. You got to get a hold of it before you try to do anything with it because it's still spinning. Those are all plays that just need to be made. Don't be in a hurry. Just field the ground ball. You've done it thousands and thousands of times this year, and you don't know. You can't. There's no explanation for it.
Scott, do you start Molina next week? He's looked really good these last 2 outings out of the bullpen. You start him on Friday?
I got to tell you, I love Molina coming out of the pen. He could be the unsung hero, the guy that everybody is so down on as a starter because the mentality is different. As a starter, you sit there and you kind of temper yourself a little bit. You used to, you tempered yourself a little bit. How are you going to pitch every time through the lineup? So I looked at going through the lineup 3 times to get to the 9th inning, 8th, 9th, 10th inning. 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, 3rd time through. That's the way I looked at it. So you don't pitch them the same going every, but as a reliever, you come in and it's just every pitch is get the guy out, do it now. Don't wait. Don't save yourself for later because you're in there for a short period of time. And I think that change in attitude I think that's been good for him. He looks like a totally different pitcher. Getting out of the 1st and 2nd inning versus coming in and throwing the 6th, 7th, and 8th, he was having trouble getting out of the first part of the game. And now he's coming in and he's just nails. So I like I said, the 5 inches between his ears, I think, has gotten right.
5 or 6 days will be the time period that Dave and Matt Hobbs have to decide who's going to start on Friday. Do you expect to see Hagen either in the afternoon or the night of the Fayetteville Regional for Game 1?
I do. There's no real throwing off in the regionals. You can't say, well, we're going to throw off because next week we want to have our guys set up for you throw off and it doesn't work. Or Hagen doesn't have his great stuff the second day, or you lose the first game, and now Hagen has to go in there and he has to win. You want to go in and win that first game. I think put the Hagen Smith out there, let Hagen be Hagen, play good defense, score a couple of runs and win the ball game, and then move on. You have enough horses in your pitching staff to where the next 2 games shouldn't be as big an issue as what people are making it to be.
Yeah. SEC projected to get at least 10 by many of the experts. Some think could be 11. What are your thoughts on the SEC in the postseason? Because we seemingly say this every year. It seems to be the deepest league we've had in a long time. But this year, when you look at maybe a record number of teams making the field, I think that cliche may carry a little more weight.
Well, it is a deep league, and it is deep by talent and also by perception. Because you'll see teams that we go, oh, yeah, well, they're going to go into a regional. They're going to reek. Even though they're at the bottom of the SEC, they're just going to rake. Well, and then they'll get beat by, Queen Mary's one-eyed gangsters from somewhere up in New York City. And you go, well, how'd that happen? There's talented baseball players at every level, and every SEC team has very, very, very talented players. And so when you see Missouri or LSU or Vanderbilt, you go, God, they're not very good this year. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. They're good. They've got great, talented players. if all those players, all of a sudden things start playing, they play loose and they start hitting the ball and pitchers are hitting their spots, and you have, you don't have to have a whole season full of great plays and great pitches and great hits. You got to have 2 or 3 games, and all of a sudden you're in the World Series. And so there's always a chance, and that's one of the great things about postseason. I mean, in baseball, it's really, really the wild, wild west. It's just because there's so much talent across the country and so many players.
And to your point, even the 4 seeds that go across the country, the 16 of those, they're there because they at least have one good pitcher that put them in that spot. He's going to throw against that 1 seed no matter who they throw. And if you're not ready, that crafty lefty or whatever they put up there could be your undoing.
Exactly, because it's exactly right, because facing that first hitter, that first game of every tournament is the toughest because they're number 1 guy. It's like in high school, the first game of the state tournament. You're facing the other guy's best guy, and they always have one. So even though we're throwing our best guy, we know they're not going to hit the ball. We're not going to hit the ball if he's a great pitcher. And that's where you become a great pitcher, because nobody hits you. So it's going to be a nip and tuck. Who's going to make the mistake? Who's going to miss a ground ball or misplay a fly ball or have a pass ball or something fluky? So you got to play good, play good sound baseball, hit the ball, put the ball in play, let your pitcher do his thing.
All right, Scott, let's do it again next Friday. We'll be hours away from the first pitch of Arkansas's first regional game, and we'll talk to you next Friday morning.
All right. It'll be fun.
All right.
Can't wait to see who's going to be there.
Scott Tabor with us. Yeah, thank you, Scott. Scott Tabor with us here every Friday morning during baseball season. It's brought to you by Alumni Hall, your ultimate Razorback shopping experience. The best and largest selection of licensed apparel for the whole family. Hey, these guys have Nike, Champion, Columbia, Onward Reserve. We love the Peter Millar selection they have. They've got accessories and gifts and things like Yeti cups as well. If you're a student at the U of A, if you're a faculty member, or you serve in the military or bring your ID in for a special discount. Plus, everyone can earn cashback rewards with a Hall Pass Rewards, $10 off for every 150 points that you earn. It's all at Alumni Hall in Fayetteville. They're next to Whole Foods, or you can shop online at alumnihall.com. Alumni Hall, it's where Razorback fans shop.
I asked Scott about Mason Molina there, and curious to what ends up happening next week. When asked by a reporter to Dave Van Horn about Molina lately, here's what Dave Van Horn had to say.
It was really good to see Mason pitch well again. He threw well in relief. Game 2 against A&M, the game we needed to win to wrap up the West. This is his first outing since, and he matched it again, threw really well. So
I trust a lot of what Scott has to say about Molina, Chuck, and maybe his role, like Scott said, maybe it's better coming out of the pen. I think there's that option to put him back in the starting rotation based on these last 2 outings, but
you can affect more games that way.
Yeah, but do you really have liked what he's done these last 2 games?
Well, I think that's one of the decisions that a coach has to make, when you get into a situation like this. And, Scott's point about the early innings, I think, is well made. And that's, I think a lot of that's mental. But I think it's mental all the way to the big leagues, when you talk about getting out of the early innings. So, if you start Hagen Smith game 1, the debate turns to who do you start game 2?
Yeah.
So, you're going to pitch Smith in one of them and somebody else in the other.
Every decision affects another decision you'll have to make in the regional as well. All right, our Fenceman Friday picks coming up in a minute. Our friends at Gaston's White River Resort, they're ready for summer. It's Memorial Day weekend, kind of the really official start of summer. The pool's open, ready to go. One of the things they've done the last couple of years is they have completely redone the pool facility. So if your kids enjoy the swimming, maybe their attention span's like my kids, it's not going to last all day in the boat on the river. Hey, there's family fun for everyone at Gaston's. 870-431-5202. Make your reservation for a summer getaway at Gaston's White River Resort. A first-class time every time.
The Cal era is here. Championship Under Construction is brought to you by Limbird Real Estate Group, serving all of Northwest Arkansas, Missouri, and the River Valley. For all your real estate needs, go to LimbirdTeam.com.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
This is Bruce Stanton, Vice President and General Manager of Pradco Fishing in Fort Smith. Our #1 volume lure out of our 20 fishing brands is the Bobby Garland Baby Shad. We make them by the millions in our facility in Fort Smith, and the Baby Shad is without a doubt the #1 soft plastic crappie lure in the U.S. Fish it on a light jig head or underneath a float, and you'll find it's as productive as live bait. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Bobby Garland Baby Shad.
Tommy Craft for the Fenceman. If you've always wanted powered automatic gates at your home or business, but you didn't know who to call, let me tell you about the Fenceman. 479-782-3936. The Fenceman does it all. Custom wrought iron installations, automatic gates, even controlled access systems, and lots more. Ask about 18-month, same as cash financing with approved credit. For your custom fence and gate needs, call the Fenceman. 479-782-3936. The Fenceman. He ain't afraid of no work.
Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963.
Drive a compact SUV that has more style, power, and technology with the 2023 Buick Envision at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Right now, get 1.9% financing for 60 months on remaining 2023 Buick Envisions. Or choose up to $3,500 in factory discounts. The Buick Envision, it's all about you and designed to inspire. Experience the new Buick at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Hey, Hog fans, this is Robert.
This is Elizabeth.
And this is Matt, and we're with the Stadium Shop on Razorback in Fayetteville.
Hey, do y'all know what time it is?
It's about 2:30.
Summertime.
It's that and a whole lot more.
And no matter what's happening, the Stadium Shop has what you need.
We have the best selection for showing off your Razorback spirit while on vacation, even Razorback swim trunks.
Graduations, anniversaries, birthdays, we have what you need for your event.
And we have what you need for that trip to Omaha.
Even a new line of hard shell luggage.
Also, Omaha tees, flags, bases, loaded hats, and the boppers.
And you can get them here at the Stadium Shop located at 989 South Razorback Road next to Baum Walker Stadium. Or you can check us online at those WWNs.
Dad, let me do that before you hurt yourself. He's talking about our website, shoponrazorback.com.
And if you can't reach us there, call us at 479-STADIUM.
All from the only family, alumni-owned and operated Razorback store.
South of the North Pole.
Dad, please.
Folks, it does not get more Razorback than us.
Go
Hawks.
Do you need help with your next project? Mentor's Lumber True Value is here to help. A family-owned business since 1936, the staff has more than 90 years of experience in construction and the hardware business. If they don't have what you need, they know how to get it, and they are more than happy to accommodate your special order. So whether it's building a new deck, a paint project around the house, or needing a new set of tools, Mentor's Lumber True Value has everything you need. With locations in Alma, Ozark, and Clarksville, and you can shop online at mentorslumber.com. Mentor's Lumber True Value.
Hey, this is Ty Richardson for Jake Neal and his team at Jerry Neal's Barbecue. Jake's dad, Jerry, started cooking barbecue at Jerry Neal's in 1977, and Jake took over and has been doing the same thing ever since. I got ribs the last time I was there. Woo! Man, they were good. Don't forget about the catfish either. It's cooked to order, so it's hot and fresh every single time. The best catfish in the River Valley. Jerry Neal's Barbecue, Catfish, and Catering, 1823 Phoenix Avenue in Fort Smith.
There's nothing like Old Fort Days Rodeo Week, May 27th through June the 1st. Heart-pounding action. Cowboys and cowgirls leaving it all on the dirt. Wrangler wants you at the Old Fort Days Rodeo, looking like a champ. Spend $75 or more on Wrangler apparel and receive a free Old Fort Days Rodeo ticket voucher. So plan on heading out to the Old Fort Days Rodeo. But first, stop by Chelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith, and gear up. Now let's rodeo. Wrangler, long live Cowboys.
Why do people love Shamrock Liquor Warehouse? Simple. They've got it all. 70 years in business, 15,000 square feet of choices. They buy in volume so you can save. What else? How about the largest selection of everything? Shamrock's got it. Special orders? Shamrock's got it. Convenient drive-through, open 6 days a week? Shamrock's got it. Need a keg for your party? Shamrock's got it. Load up at Shamrock Liquor Warehouse at the corner of Midland and Riverfront Drive in Fort Smith.
Patriot Transport wants to thank their drivers for their hard work and dedication. The local and over-the-road drivers are essential to the Patriot Transport mission. Day in and day out, Patriot Transport drivers are on the road striving for safety and success. To the behind-the-scenes dispatch and office employees, Patriot Transport thanks them as well for the hard work they put in day and night. If you want to be a part of the Patriot Transport family, visit patriottransport.com. Patriot Transport is located in Danville, Arkansas.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Arkansas football. It's the players running through the A. Hog hats. It's more than 70,000 fans calling Woo Pig Suey.
Yes, sir.
Guys, I've got just one thing I want to say to you. Touchdown, Arkansas!
This is your Hog Update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Mr. Sparky. Need a licensed electrician to service your home? For one of their local pros, call 888-8-SPARKY.
Didn't go well for the Hogs in the first inning against Kentucky. And Hagen Smith walked the first guy, had an overthrow to first, then Hudson White had an overthrow to third, and just a couple of miscues that are not typical of this baseball team. And they felt like that maybe Hagen was a little too amped up yesterday.
Probably a little amped up, leaving some things up, fastball up, and, just not real sharp. And I think he got a little frustrated, but that's about what we wanted him to throw right there, 35, 40 pitches, 2 to 3 innings max. And we just thought, hey, that's enough. So give him a little opportunity to have a couple days rest more than normal leading into next weekend. Hagen's Hagen. He's good. He'll be ready to go.
2 runs, 2 hits, and a walk, but he still had 4 strikeouts in 2 innings. So even what we would consider a non-typical Hagen outing still ended up with 4 strikeouts yesterday. Now he'll have at least a week's rest to either get ready for Friday and Saturday, depending on what Dave Van Horn and Matt Hobbs decide for this upcoming regional setup. And I listened to Ruskin and Zach yesterday, Chuck, when you were on, and I thought you made a good point because I hadn't thought about it. It's like, they'll probably play Friday night and Hagen will pitch then. But Dave's kind of had a history and track record going to that afternoon game on Friday.
He has, and I'll be anxious to see what they do here. That's a pattern that he started really when he was in Nebraska, and he's followed through on that a lot here. So I don't know what their decision will be there, but there's reason to believe it might be in the afternoon.
Yeah, if it's not really hot, he likes that. It gives you a little bit more rest before you play the evening game on Saturday if you win. It can be a two-edged sword, but it's worked out a lot more than it hasn't as far as the timing. I think he likes the extra rest, Chuck.
Yeah, lots of teams do this when you get to the regional round, and it's a little bit counterproductive, it would seem, from the outside looking in terms of crowd and things like that, but it'll be full. They can play at 9 o'clock in the morning next Friday. It'll be full.
You just got to have – I know they sometimes like to do the thing where your athletics director, your head baseball coach has officially signed you out of work that you can get out and leave early to go watch the game. Might have that next weekend too. All right, last thing here in your Hog Update. It's all it was official. Brad Calipari, John's son, has been named an assistant coach and director of on-court player development. He's worked at Vanderbilt the last 2 years, played under Cal, went to another college and played for a little bit, Detroit Mercy, I believe. And now it's we knew he was going to come in some capacity. Now we know what that capacity is, guys.
Yeah, no real surprise there. I think this was I hate to use the term formality, but that's basically what it was.
Yeah, again, I mean, I think we've known. It's just, again, the official announcement. I think we've known for weeks now that he was going to be a part of whatever it was. We just, like I said, got details on his role.
All right, this is your Hog Update this morning. It is brought to you by our friends at Mr. Sparky.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
All right, it is that time of the morning on a Friday as we welcome in our friend Sean from the Fenceman here on a Fenceman Friday. Sean, you got that bright orange shirt on today, man. Welcome in.
You bet. I've got to go out and see a few job sites this morning, and they're commercial, so I've got to wear my safety orange to make sure I don't get run over by a piece of equipment.
They give you the hard helmet too.
I have one. It's got a few stickers on there. It says some stuff that's a little humorous.
Okay.
So
should have worn that in there too.
That's right.
All right, let's get into it. It is another Fenceman Friday.
Fenceman Friday picks. Call the Fenceman for all kinds of fences, controlled access, and custom iron projects. 479-782-3936. The Fenceman. We ain't afraid of no work.
All right, so we're going to do a couple things today. We're going to talk some SEC baseball. We got the NBA games, one tonight, one tomorrow, and the Indy 500, the 108th edition, coming up this weekend. Guys, we'll start with the elimination game. Kentucky against South Carolina, Tommy. Arkansas lost to both squads. You've got great hitters, Walter Schmidt, Messina.
Mm-hmm.
Who stays, who leaves today?
I think Kentucky will stay. That this is rare air for their program. I think they probably value a little longer ride in the SEC tournament. I think Kentucky wins this game.
I think Kentucky wins it too. They're a little more talented than South Carolina. We've seen that at times this season. Chuck, I've got the Cats taking it over the Gamecocks later on today.
Well, I'm going to flip a coin and go with South Carolina.
Who do you like in this one, Sean?
Well, I believe like you guys, I think Kentucky's probably got the better depth, but I'm going to go with Chuck. I think we're going to have South Carolina's the underdog. I think they're going to bring it off.
All right, let's go to Knoxville, where the Tennessee Volunteers, I say in Knoxville, go to Hoover. Well, they'll take on Mississippi State for the right to say. Tony Vitello and company beat Texas A&M, continuing on. Again, only one of two top 4 seeds left. Tommy, I think they stay. I think that they advance like Kentucky, and they get it tomorrow and move on to Saturday.
I'll go with Vanderbilt. So, I mean, not Vanderbilt, Mississippi State.
Chuck, what do you think? Mississippi State or Tennessee?
I'm going to go with Tennessee. Mississippi State was there really late last night,
Yeah.
and I think Tennessee outslugs them.
I think they lost 4-3, a tight one to Vanderbilt, so that could wear on them a little bit. Sean, what do you think in this one, man?
Go Vols all the way.
I figured that
I think
might be
they're going to
coming.
take it.
Big orange, baby.
They're going to
Look
take
at
the
that
whole
shirt.
tournament. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's it.
He's repping. All right, you got the Minnesota Timberwolves hosting the Dallas Mavericks. Game 2 tonight. Minnesota is a 5.5-point favorite this one. I know that they had a lead in the fourth quarter against the Mavs, let it slip away. I think they come back and not only win, they cover tonight, Tommy.
Yeah, I got the T-Wolves winning this one. I don't think they'll fall back 2-0.
I got to go with Minnesota tonight as well.
Sean, do you think that Minnesota, are you going to stay on the island with us, or are you going to go by yourself?
I'm going with Dallas. I mean, you guys know that's close to home. We got a lot of fans here. That's who I'm going to go with.
All right.
All right, the other NBA game tomorrow night, the Pacers, even at home, are 7.5-point underdogs. I just think Halliburton getting injured last night, that hamstring in the third quarter. I think the Pacers end up losing this game. They might win game 4, but they lose, and they lose by at least 10. So I've got the Boston Celtics covering the 7.5-point spread tomorrow night, Tommy.
The NBA things, strange things happen. I think the Pacers win this game and don't let it go 3-0 and lose the interest in the series. That just seems to be how the NBA works. Give me the Indiana.
Indiana covers. Boston wins. Get out the broom.
3-0. It's about to be potentially 4-0. All right, Sean, what happens tomorrow night?
Give me
on
Boston.
ABC? Boston.
Yep.
Boston.
Yep.
Celtics have, again, been good the majority of the season. Had a few miscues in the playoffs, but yeah, they ultimately, it sounds like they're going to close it out tomorrow, in the coming days of that series. All right, that is your Fenceman Friday picks this morning with our buddy Sean, who's again sporting that bright orange. I want to see it next time. Bring that helmet in. I want to see the stickers that you got on that helmet.
I'll bring in my how do you want to call it? My helmet head. There we go.
Helmet head. There you go.
Helmet head. Yeah, my dunce cap.
I'm gonna say Ty should have a hard hat. So
and my DDD helmet. You need it if you're doing dumb stuff.
Yeah. Hey, it's Memorial Day weekend. The kind of the official kickoff of summer. If you want to fence this summer, now's the time to call.
Yes, give us a call. Our list is growing. We're very blessed. We got a lot of customers that need fence done, but you better get in now if you want it in soon. I am looking for really good, talented people. That's how blessed we are. I can't keep up with how much work we have now. So if you're a talented builder, you got some construction experience, you want to get in the fence industry, please come by and see me because I sure could put you to work.
782-3936 is their number. Sean, have a great Memorial Day weekend. We'll see you next Friday.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
This is Bruce Stanton, Vice President and General Manager of Pradco Fishing in Fort Smith. Our #1 volume lure out of our 20 fishing brands is the Bobby Garland Baby Shad. We make them by the millions in our facility in Fort Smith, and the Baby Shad is without a doubt the #1 soft plastic crappie lure in the U.S. Fish it on a light jig head or underneath a float, and you'll find it's as productive as live bait. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Bobby Garland Baby Shad.
Home is everything. It's your sanctuary, your command center, your music room, and your art studio. It's where you eat family dinners and make lasting memories. When you use a Weichert agent to help you find your home, we'll help you find the space to make it yours. When you begin your search, know that a Weichert agent will be there with you every step of the way. Because at Weichert Realtors, we guide you home. To get started, call your local Weichert agent and look for our bright yellow signs all over town. At Weichert Realtors, we sell more because we do more. Each Weichert franchised office is independently owned and operated.
Roll into the season at WT Equipment. Get ready to roll with strong savings on hay tools, compact and mid-range tractors, and even our large commercial-grade hay equipment. Find out and save $5,000, $10,000, or more in cash back. Or get 0% financing for up to 48 months on hay tools, 60 months on mid-range tractors, and up to 72 months on compacts. Hurry, offer ends June 30th for commercial use only. Customer participation subject to credit qualification and CNH Industrial Capital America LLC approval. Standard terms, conditions, and other restrictions apply. Down payment may be required. WT Equipment, your partner in progress.
Tommy Craft for the Fenceman. If you've always wanted powered automatic gates at your home or business, but you didn't know who to call, let me tell you about the Fenceman. 479-782-3936. The Fenceman does it all. Custom wrought iron installations, automatic gates, even controlled access systems, and lots more. Ask about 18-month, same as cash financing with approved credit. For your custom fence and gate needs, call the Fenceman. 479-782-3936. The Fenceman. He ain't afraid of no work.
This is The Morning Rush.
Get 1.9% financing for well-qualified buyers on a GMC Sierra 1500 at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The 24 GMC Sierra 1500 has a 5.3-liter V8 engine, so you can conquer the road with confidence. Get 1.9% financing and $3,250 in purchase allowance when you trade an eligible vehicle. See the new GMC Sierra 1500 at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. We are professional grade. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
The Wave Rural Connect Shoal Creek Zone is open. Fast fiber internet, TV, and home phone available. This covers Midway, New Blaine, Scranton, Delaware, and other areas. Even if this isn't your zone, check your address. We might be available for you. Get your whole home solution. Internet, TV, and phone from a local provider. Go to signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
I'm Jim Cash III, owner of the Diamond Center. I invite you to come visit us for all your jewelry needs, including celebrations, purchases, repurposing, or jewelry repairs. The Diamond Center offers the largest selection of engagement rings in the area, along with complete custom design for all those special occasions. My family's legacy in jewelry goes back 4 generations. We strive for excellent customer service, integrity in our pricing, and jewelry of the very best quality and craftsmanship. This is all backed by our exclusive free lifetime warranty. Come see us at the Diamond Center, celebrating a legacy of love.
If you knew all that Jody's Auto Service Centers can do for your vehicle and you'd never take your vehicle anywhere else.
My fleet is small, 14 trucks and cars. It's a struggle every day with parts, employees, and scheduling, but one thing I never worry about is vehicles. Jody's has special fleet pricing, special in and out service, or free shuttle and pickup and delivery service. And they do everything: service, repair, and maintenance. That makes my life much easier. All my vehicles go to Jody's.
Latest technology and highly trained technicians means we could do it all. From the most highly technical repairs to everyday oil change specials, tires, everything, even diesels. Jody'sAuto.com schedule free shuttle service or pickup and delivery. Get a tire quote, get financing. Jody's Auto Service Centers, voted best of the best by our customers year after year. We're your neighbors since 1984 with 3 full-service locations in Fort Smith and Van Buren. See for yourself at JODYSauto.com.
This is a public service announcement for hard seltzer lovers. Neutral Vodka Seltzer has arrived. Made with simple ingredients like vodka, seltzer, and real juice, Neutral tastes good. Like real good. So good that you'll never want to drink another artificial tasting seltzer again. Neutral's light and refreshing taste will show you what a vodka seltzer can be. Try Neutral, the one with the umlaut. Copyright 2023 Neutral Distilled Spirit Specialty, Los Angeles, California. Enjoy responsibly.
Do you need an attorney that you can actually speak with? You need Hickey and Hole Law Partners. The attorneys at Hickey and Hole understand the importance of client communication and are taking the time to meet you, respond to emails, and return calls. Every case is important, and they strive to give each one the time and attention it deserves. Call today, 479-434-2414, or visit them online at kevinhickeylaw.com. Hickey and Hole Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Active weather expected to push through today. We could see the potential for up to quarter-size hail, winds up to 60 miles per hour, and a chance of a few isolated tornadoes today. Our high temperatures this afternoon into the lower 80s. Another chance of some showers and scattered thunderstorms later tonight, and overnight low 60s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by In Good Spirits, Fort Smith's premier source for fine wines, specialty
KERX
beers,
Paris
and
Fort
liquor.
Smith. The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 97 days. This hour of the Morning Rush is brought to you by Farm Credit. From farms to land, livestock, equipment, and more, Farm Credit finances it all. Learn more at myaglender.com.
Be a 1-2 on Hudson Polk. He swings and misses, and the Hogs go 2 and out in the SEC tournament this year. A home run by Jared Sprague-Lott in the 9th inning. Nothing else. 9-6. Kentucky over Arkansas. Cats took 3 out of 4 from the Razorbacks this year.
You know, we've been on the road about a week. I didn't like the outcome, but we've got a big week ahead of us, and we got to get ready for next weekend.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studio. Heard all across ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Hit that line.
This is the Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You're in need of a serious attitude adjustment, young man. You better get your priorities straight.
Produced by Kristen Johnston.
In spite of the juvenile snickers of some, this is a serious matter.
Call or text the Morning Rush on the McCarty Daniel hotline. With 6 locations in Springdale and Bensenville, a good deal is never too far away.
You don't need to wear a ball cap, man. You need to let those golden locks flow.
You know, we've taken plenty of opinions on what happened in Hoover, Alabama the last 2 days. And we got more baseball to discuss. You just heard Dave Van Horn. He still had a few comments, not just talking about what occurred in the losses, but really just where his team is hitting the ball right now, rallying back for Fayetteville Regional next week. Haven't heard much of opinions, though, so far on what occurred yesterday with college sports changing. Some of you think it's going to be for the better. Some of you think it's for the worse. Some of you have no freaking idea what I'm talking about. But we'll share kind of what happened yesterday and what's coming to college sports probably starting in 2025.
Hey, if you've got metal parts that you're putting up that you don't want to have to ever paint again, maybe it's something on your house for flashing or for protection, or maybe it's a part on your ATV or brake calipers on your vehicle, powder coat them with River City Coatings. Whether it's small or large, River City Coatings can handle all your powder coating needs. And it's not just a layer of paint. You see, with powder coating, it becomes part of the metal, and it can withstand chemicals, abrasions, the weathering, and more. And when you need your metals to last and you don't want to have to maintenance them, and it's, expensive or certainly, sometimes even dangerous to try to paint those parts, powder coating is the answer. They have over 25 years of experience and offer a variety of colors. So it doesn't just have to be one color. It can stand out and look right on your ATV or your vehicle as well, or whatever color you might need for your project. If you need something fast, give River City Coatings a call. They're in Van Buren, or check them out online at rivercitycoatings.com. Hey, no project's too big or small. If you think you have something that's unique and different, give them a call or check out their website. rivercitycoatings.com. That's rivercitycoatings.com, or call them at 471-7675.
This hour of Chuck Barrett on the Morning Rush is presented by McClarty Daniel. McClarty Daniel has a vehicle to fit both your style and budget. With 6 locations in Springdale and Bentonville, you're never too far from a good deal. Visit McClartyDaniel.com to find your next ride.
So the NCAA and Power 5 settled a huge case yesterday. Really, it was 3 cases kind of in one. And these cases were involved with NIL-related stuff, not paying players, and kind of the treetop version is players from 2016 on are going to get damages of $2.7 billion to get past athletes and current athletes. Now, the NCAA has accounted for 40% of the roll, and the Power 5 and other schools are going to account for 60% of what has to be paid, including Arkansas being in the Southeastern Conference school. Now, the Razorbacks will have to pay $20 million a year, which is estimated 2022. Reading from Ross Dellinger, I think it does a tremendous job for Yahoo Sports covering college football. And it's going to come from the revenue that is distributed by the SEC. Now, what this changes, that revenue that I'm talking about, that revenue is going to be allowed to use for NIL. Schools have not been able to use any funding, any revenue for NIL prior to this. It sounds like this is going to come into effect summer and fall of 2025, so not this year, but next year. Guys, did I leave anything off? I think that's a pretty decent treetop.
Well, there are lots of layers to this.
Yeah.
Many, many layers to this. And this is by no stretch of the imagination the final resolution. There's much, much more to come down the pike on this. But the long and short of it is schools will pay players directly beginning in the fall of 2025. Now, it's still going to be your money, but they're going to pay them directly. And the current NIL model, I hesitate to say it's going to go away because there's still going to be NIL out there, but it's not going to be like this. Schools will pay players directly beginning in the fall of 2025. And the players dating back to 2016, they were part of this lawsuit. They are going to get, as you said, they're going to get back pay. I guess is basically what it boils down to. The NCAA decided to settle this rather than have it go to trial because the NCAA basically loses every case that goes to trial right now. They cut their losses, and it's hard to say when you agree to pay billions of dollars.
Nearly
that you're
$3
cutting
billion.
your losses.
Yeah,
but that's what they are doing.
Yeah,
because the judgment could have been much, much greater than what they have settled on. I think in the long term, now look, I don't like the way this is all trended, but I think the current NIL model is one of the most unseemly things I have ever seen in college sports. That you would ask a working person to give money so a 19-year-old kid can live better than your 19-year-old kid or drive a better car than you do. That is asinine. And the idea that that would sustain itself over an extended period is just as asinine.
Yeah.
And this is a step in the right direction under the current climate. I don't know that it's a step in the right direction, generally speaking, but given the fact that this is inevitable, I think this is probably the best that they can do.
20 to 22 million per year can be used starting again summer of 25, fall of 25 for NIL. And again, it's $30 million per school.
Well, I think it's important to note this is a forward-looking and backward-looking settlement. The money, for example, that goes to the former players, that it's not like you got to stroke a check for that. That's going to be taken out of your revenue share. The 20 to 22 million that you're responsible, or the however much you decide you're going to pay players, that comes out of your budget. You know, that comes out of your budget. Now, again, it's your money. I mean, it's still fans' money. But I can't imagine any college administrator or coach in their private moments really enjoying going out and saying, hey, you need to give us more money so we can sign players and they can drive better cars. I know they don't like doing that. And this is going to alleviate some of that, I think.
Pittman's been outspoken. I mean, I think he even said it on this program that it's hard. It's not easy to do, to ask people who already give so much, not to this program but anywhere else, to give more money on top of that.
So it's $2.7 billion roughly is the settlement. 60% by the NCAA is where they'll come up with those funds.
40 is the NCAA, 60 schools.
Well,
Okay.
we don't really know exactly
Okay,
what the final split is. That's not really. They were bickering over that. It's somewhere in the 60-40 range.
Okay, so the numbers are massive either way, but here's my question.
Yes.
We know that the schools are going to come up with the money out of TV revenue sharing. Where in the hell is the NCAA going to come up with $1.5 billion to pay all of this? I mean, I can't imagine they have that anywhere near that kind of reserves. And their big cash cows, obviously March Madness, and that money gets redistributed out to schools.
I think they've got the money. They've been preparing for this for quite some time now.
I thought
think they've
COVID
got
ate
the
through
money.
a lot of that.
Yeah.
But
well, I mean, it shows you how much money they're making.
And
If you
it's
can
all in
agree
the
to pay
basketball
that,
tournament.
and it's not like you got to stroke the check right now.
Yeah.
You got 10 years to pay this off, and you can take it out of future revenues.
But
But it's a lot of money. You're right. I mean, it's
that-
an astronomical sum of
Sure.
money.
I mean, obviously, Hunter Yurachek and his counterparts are going to have to figure out how to rebudget, recalculate, where to bring in other revenue streams to make up the $22 million difference that you now have in expenses. And they'll figure that out over time through probably some of both extra revenues and cost-cutting measures. So that I get. But how you distribute this money, do these players become employees? Chuck, there's so many questions that have to be
there's
figured
layer
out.
after layer, and one box open another.
Yes.
One box opens
Yeah.
another. We've not even gotten to Title IX yet.
No.
And Title IX is going to play a big role in
Well-
all of this. The articles that I read indicate that it's going to be at least 6 months before we really begin to get an idea about exactly what this settlement's going to mean. So this is the first step. It's by no means the final step. But we've known revenue sharing was coming. And we don't know exactly how it's going to happen yet. But we know it's here. And this settlement basically ensures that.
So how does all of this make it better for the fans? Or does
I don't know.
See, because
I don't know.
I don't see anything for the fans in this other than higher ticket prices and a reduced experience when you go to the games. Because and I say that because I think you're going to have to pay more for tickets as a result of this, at least marginally. If you think we as fans aren't going to shoulder some of this burden, you're wrong.
On the back
Your
end.
increased cost to view a game is coming, because where's this money going to come from for the conferences? Well, it comes from the TV networks. How do the TV networks make their money? It's not all on advertising. It's on subscriptions to households just like yours and just like mine. So when your streaming plan on ESPN Plus or whatever goes up, that's why. Then you look at, the reduction in budgets and things that schools are going to have to make hard choices on. Does that mean the fan experience in the stadium has to change in order to make all of this work? I don't know, but those are the fan is usually the one. The fan is always the one that
Correct.
shoulders the burden of the cost generally.
Directly or indirectly.
Well, it's always going to be that way. That's why I said initially, it's still your money.
Yes.
I mean, it's your money. It's just going to be distributed differently. But yeah, you're still going to pay for it.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm just because if budget cuts are part of it, something's going to have to be likely given up in the game day experience.
I suspect there will be a reduction in personnel
Yeah.
at a lot of these schools. I suspect that.
And we saw with A&M, Trev Alberts, their athletics director, who's at Nebraska, has already got out in front of it. They let some people go, and unfortunately, you're probably going to have that at Arkansas too.
Well,
I don't think it's bad that there's a little bit of belt tightening in college athletics at the administrative level. I don't think that's a bad thing. I hope it doesn't go overboard, but I don't think a little change there is out of order.
Yeah. I mean, I think the prudent answer, I mean, if a problem on the scale of our business was presented to me, you'd try to balance it with some cost cutting and how do we increase revenues? I mean, the answer to most problems is an increase in revenues. Now, I think they have went to every well they've had in this NIL, 3 or 4 years here.
Yeah.
And they have droughted a lot of these wells that they've went to. And I don't mean wells like the ones in the ocean that the casinos and now the NIL funds are going after. I mean the ones you dig in the ground. They have depleted these, Chuck. And I think what they've also realized in this process is trees don't grow to the sky, and there is a limit to the money you can raise externally.
Well, you're right about all that, but the television revenue offsets everything.
Mm-hmm.
Which they have flaunted
that's not
for
going
years.
down.
Which they have flaunted for years. Look at how much money we're giving our
well,
schools.
but that's just the reality of it, and that's the whole reason that players wanted a piece of the pie.
Yeah.
Was because of all the television revenue was the impetus for all of this, because it's what put coaches' salaries through the roof. It's what allowed athletic departments to hire 3 people to do the job one person used to do. And budgets have expanded and people are making money, and the players looked at it and said, well, we're the ones doing all the work. And, that's what started all this.
And I think you also have to understand how the structure of an athletic department is set up. Chuck, these are nonprofit organizations in many accounts. We think of it as big business, and it is, but for every dollar that comes in, they try to more or less spend 99% of that dollar going out. It's not as though they're retaining profits and sharing with shareholders, and there's not dividends. I mean, pretty much they, if the budget grows, they try to grow the expenses. And
well, this is one of those subjects you can sit around and all of a sudden we've been talking about it and you look up and 2 hours have passed and we may or may not have gotten to the heart of the matter, because the truth is there's still so much more to come on this. This is the first step. I think to try to figure out what the end game is going to be right now is a futile attempt. But this is the first step, and it's a significant step. And basically it does tell us that by the fall of 2025, players are going to be paid by the schools. And the NIL model as we know it now is going to be dramatically different. There's still going to be NIL money, but it's not going to be one of these deals where, you're using that to lure recruits. It may be part of the package, but it's not going to be the primary manner in which you entice a player to come play for you.
I remember us talking, and everyone's wondered about what burst the bubble on coaches' salaries. And we just saw it. Kirby Smart went, what was it, $13 million? He went to at Georgia.
That sounds some stupid. 12 or 13, yeah, something like that.
So is this the little prick in the bubble that burst this ever-growing contract levels these coaches have? This doesn't do it, Chuck? Does the buyouts and the structure of these contracts get dramatically restructured as a result of this?
What I would say is that
I don't think anything's changing there. I don't think anything's changing.
In addition to the television revenue that has been broadcasted and talked about of how much money each conference, and I know the SEC and the Big Ten make the most, but I think the players are also have seen how much coaches have made, not only in their yearly salaries, but the buyouts that they get too. And so I
don't think it's coaches. I don't think it's coaches. I don't think it's ever been coaches. I think it's all the guys in the building.
You just think
That's who they look at. That's who they look at. They respect their coaches. They know what their coaches do. I don't think the resentment of players has ever been about what the coaches make. I think that's what the public thinks. I've never thought that was correct. I think they see 5 people doing one person's job up in that building.
Making $250,000 a year.
That's what they see. Yeah. And to me, that's what just the overall bloating of college athletics is what I think has led to players and maybe adults helping players realize that they were entitled to a bigger piece of the pie. Hey, I want to pause just for a second and talk to you about my friends at McClarty Daniel. If you're a McClarty Daniel customer, if you've been to one of their 6 dealerships in Bentonville and Springdale, you know what I'm talking about. But if you're looking for a new automobile, I'd recommend them just because of the experience, and you'll feel it the minute you walk in the door. They're going to be happy to see you. You're not interrupting their day. You're the reason for their day. And when you walk in, you're going to be greeted as such. You're going to be offered something to drink. You're going to be offered a snack. They're going to take you around. They're going to show you the automobiles. They're going to explain it to you. You're going to feel like they're talking to you as opposed to at you. And you're going to get a great deal. I mean, that's a given. You're going to get a great deal. They know what they're doing. They've been doing this since the 80s. But when it's over, you're going to find other things that make the experience complete, like Saturday service, complimentary rentals when your car is being serviced. That's the McClarty Daniel difference, and you're going to see it each and every time you do business with them. They do have 6 dealerships. They're in Bentonville and Springdale, and you can see their selection at McClartyDaniel.com.
Brian's phoned in this morning from Greenwood. He's got some thoughts on this topic. What's up, Brian?
I was trying to do some research before I called in, but I noticed that we ended the deal with CBS that was $55 million a year. I picked up an ABC deal that's worth $300 million a year. So you're looking at about $245 million extra dollars. But if you distribute that amongst the schools, it's almost an extra $20 million a year. Did they have foresight that that $20 million extra is going to compensate for paying the athletes $20 million, and therefore it's really not going to impact the schools because the additional TV revenue will cover it?
I think that's a good point. I think all the schools, the conferences, and their negotiations with the television networks have known it as well. This is not a surprise. This is not a surprise. This has been discussed internally for years. And I'm not talking about 10 or 15 years, but I'm talking about they've known for quite some time now that this was coming. So, yes, the answer to your question is yes. It won't affect things perhaps as much as people think, because the television revenue is going to continue to go up. And that's why when Tommy said a minute ago, is this the final salary that burst the balloon? No, because there's no end in sight in terms of the increase in television revenue in any sport. Look at the NBA right now. We've talked about NBC taking the NBA away from TNT. There's no end in sight for what these networks are willing to pay for live events. Because when you look at television right now and you look at what moves the needle in every different format, it's live programming.
I think Apple and Amazon's emergence and their ability to play for live events and sports and pay sometimes
what Netflix is trying to get into.
And sometimes pay over market value has also inflated that, like you're discussing.
Yeah. All right, we'll get back to SEC baseball and the tournament in Arkansas, headed to the postseason and the regional. All of our baseball conversations this morning are presented by the Stadium Shop in Fayetteville. Shop on Razorback.com to get all of your Omahawks gear and get ready for next week. Next Friday, guys, we're going to be at the Stadium Shop for the Morning Rush, and looking forward to that. Also brought to you by Kofer's Boat Center. They've been around since 1971. Find them online at Kofers.com, your trusted dealer for Malibu, Axis, Camus, Lowe, and a lot more. Kofer's Boat Center, providing family fun since 1971.
So I know General Ben wants to talk some baseball. We'll do some more of that coming up. And if you want to jump in here on the McClarty Daniel Hotline, another segment is next.
ESPN Arkansas and Phil Elson are live at the 2024 SEC Baseball Tournament. Our coverage is presented by the Stadium Shop on Razorback, your Omahawks headquarters, the largest selection of Razorback merchandise south of the North Pole. Shop on Razorback.com. It doesn't get any more Razorback than the Stadium Shop. Kofer's Boat Center. Kofer's huge selection of new boats can be seen on their website, Kofers.com. That's Kophers.com. Kofer's Boat Center, providing family fun since 1971.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Home is everything. It's your sanctuary, your command center, your music room, and your art studio. It's where you eat family dinners and make lasting memories. When you use a Weichert agent to help you find your home, we'll help you find the space to make it yours. When you begin your search, know that a Weichert agent will be there with you every step of the way. Because at Weichert Realtors, we guide you home. To get started, call your local Weichert agent and look for our bright yellow signs all over town. At Weichert Realtors, we sell more because we do more. Each Weichert franchised office is independently owned and operated.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fenceman was my first call. The Fenceman does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fenceman does it. The Fenceman. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
This is the Morning Rush.
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center with exciting news about our first ever trade-in acquisition event. We need your trade, so now through Memorial Day, get your state sales tax paid when you trade for any one of our road-ready certified vehicles. That's right, state sales tax paid when you trade. Another reason all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
AAA Business Systems is your printer, copier, and production print solutions provider. What makes AAA unique? Ricoh, Sharp, and Brother equipment. Fast, friendly service from our office technology experts. All-inclusive service contracts, managed IT services, and 4 locations statewide. AAA Business Systems. Find us online at AAABM.com. AAA Business Systems. Anything else is just a copy.
Hey, it's Ty Richardson for Papa's Pub and Pizzeria. I want to talk about their pizza today. The Goob Special with extra pepperoni and rib rub on top. The Parm Special with double mushroom and jalapenos. Don't forget about the bacon cheeseburger and everyone's favorite, the old trash can. Swing on by Papa's Pub and Pizzeria at 508 Garrison Avenue in downtown Fort Smith. Or give them a call at 479-783-9941. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, the best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
Have your travel plans changed? Looking for a place that's close to home and keep your family safe? Gaston's White River Resort is located on the beautiful White River. They offer private accommodations in their lodges and cabins. Most cabins have a fully equipped kitchen or let their restaurant staff deliver to your cabin. Call 870-431-5202 and change your plans to Gaston's White River Resort. Gaston's White River Resort, a first-class time every time.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One has a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family, from general dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Dr. Sparkman, Davis, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Now offering same-day crowns. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
Are you ready to work for one of the area's premier companies? If so, Forsgren wants to offer you a rewarding new career. Forsgren has been building the foundation of the River Valley for over 80 years. Forsgren is recruiting for experienced concrete finishers, equipment operators, truck drivers, and laborers. Forsgren is a destination point for men and women with a drive toward excellence. Join the Forsgren legacy. Apply now on any device, anywhere at GoForsgren.com. That's GoForsgren.com. Forsgren Incorporated is an equal opportunity employer.
Get ready for the Old Fort Days Rodeo at Jelco Outdoors. With a qualifying boot purchase, receive a voucher for a free Old Fort Days Rodeo ticket and an Old Fort Days Rodeo ball cap. Boots by Ariat, Justin, Tony Lama, Durango, R. Watson, and Twisted X. Purchase $75 of jeans by Ariat and Wrangler and receive a free ticket voucher. Get ready to rodeo at Jelco Outdoors. Check out the Old Fort Days Rodeo official merchandise only from your friends at Jelco Outdoors. 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. You're listening to The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
I got a feeling they're really hacked off right now because they did not play well down there. They know it. Nobody's got to tell them. We can go through list after list after list of the things that they didn't do well. They know it better than anybody. My guess would be they are back with something to prove. and that you're going to see a different energy level when they play next weekend.
No, Dave was disappointed with the variety of things here in the game yesterday and really the last 2 days with Arkansas baseball. We'll talk more about that coming up again. We'll get to some more of his thoughts and kind of what the players had to say. Before we do that, we're going to talk to our friend Larry Rath of Rath Auto Resources this morning. Larry, what's going on, man?
Oh, it's just a big Memorial Day weekend going on over here at Rath Auto Resources, Fort Smith, Rath, Mitsubishi, and Springdale. So excited about this weekend. You know, at Mitsubishi, we've got some really good incentives right now. $4,000 on the 24 Outlander. If you haven't seen that car, folks, come in and just give it a test drive. Before you buy anything else, test drive that car and see if that doesn't work for you and your family. It's got a little third-row seat in it. It's a great size, the styling, the interior, the safety features, the 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, the $4,000 in incentives, 0% financing, on and on and on. Just probably the best bargain out there, plus just the best-looking car. Come out and check that out at Rath Mitsubishi this weekend. We've got a big selection. Rath Auto Resources in Fort Smith, we've got the first ever trade-in acquisition event going on. It's been a great promotion. So many people taking advantage of that. Those incentives, come on in, get the great deal on the car you've been waiting on, get some extra money back to help you pay those sales taxes. We're taking care of that for you, and it's going to be a big weekend. We've brought in a bunch of extra inventory, great selection, cars and trucks and SUVs, all out there ready to go. Road ready certified with warranty. You really can't buy a better used car. Takes all the risk out of it, and also just gets you in a better car. And then that Meineke car care service after the sale, you can't beat that either. Free AC checks back there in the Meineke right now. That's a pretty timely offer. We've also got half-off brakes. And the buy three, get one free on all tires. You know, we just got back from a Meineke meeting, and they've got about 800 stores nationwide. The store in Fort Smith, the #1 tire store in the whole chain, and that's because of that great offer. So if you're looking for a set of tires, let us take care of that. Better yet, come in, trade that thing in this weekend, and get sales tax paid. Rath Auto Resources in Fort Smith, Rath Mitsubishi in Springdale. Check us out online at rathauto.com.
All right, Memorial Day weekend, Rath Auto Resources, both sides of the tunnel. Larry, enjoy the holiday weekend, and we'll catch up next week.
All right, thank you, guys. Y'all have a good one. And folks, come and see us.
So we've talked about the pitching. We've talked about the defense. But you had 18 hits, and you had 11 runs in the last 2 games. I know that the offense has been up and down this year, but here's what Dave said about the last couple of days.
You know, it was a little bit up and down. You know, we left a lot of runners on base in the last 2 days, and really the biggest hit we got was that 3-run homer. We got hit here or there, sack fly, you know, yesterday. But today's game was, again, in our big inning, we need another hit. We've got to get better. We got to get better. I mean, that's what I just told them. We got to get more production up and down the lineup. It's spotty right now. And, you know, I think guys are trying too hard, trying to do too much instead of just take what they give you sometimes. So, you know, what I'm talking about is maybe a couple guys going out of the zone, put themselves in a bad count. We got to flip that, take the pitch, work for the next one. So, yeah, we're gonna have to swing the bats a lot better when we get to the regional.
I don't expect to see Kendall Diggs in the leadoff spot next week. I think that was a move to try and get some confidence, hit him up. We know he's not hitting the baseball well right now. I think he got a hit or two. He got some walks. I don't expect to see him in that leadoff spot next week.
Go back and listen to what Dave just said there. I don't know who's going to be the leadoff hitter. But, you know, when he says we got to get better, that's what I just told him. That goes back to what we were talking about a little bit earlier. I'm sure he's challenging them. You know, you got to read between the lines a little bit there and listen to the voice inflection. He'll tell you exactly what he's thinking if you'll pay attention to what he says. And that's what I heard in what he said right there, that he's going to challenge his team. I think that's why he talked to him a long time out there in the outfield after the game. I think they were being challenged. Offense, defense, pitching, the whole deal. Nobody's immune, and nobody's in a spot where you can say, boy, we can't get any better there. So I think this team's going to be challenged. I don't know who the leadoff hitter is going to be. I have no idea. But I would imagine between now and next Friday, they'll have some serious conversations.
Yeah.
And as I said earlier, as I said in the clip you played, I think they're coming home hacked off. I've been around enough of those guys over the years to know when they're mad and when they're not. And I think they come home feeling like they got something to prove to themselves, to their fans, to everybody out there. I don't mind a team that takes an us against the world attitude. I think right now is the time to do it, quite frankly.
You are around a lot of teams. How much of his approval do they seem to be seeking on a daily basis? Because I think it all centers around
all
trying
day,
to play.
every day.
Yeah, I mean, and I think right now he's pretty well said, I'm not happy with much anything was probably the message in that outfield. And
well,
you need to earn my favor again.
This goes back to an overused term, which is culture. If you got the right culture, we tend to think sometimes a coach slams the door and says, all right, guys, we're going to settle this right now. That's not how it works. You can have those conversations, but this is where your day-to-day culture's got to take over. Those players have got to challenge themselves, and I'm sure they are.
And I look forward to seeing where they're going to be in the national seeding. I think right in the middle of that pack of 8 teams, and we'll find that out this weekend.
5. I'll be at
That's
5.
your prediction? I think 5 or 6.
I don't think it's honestly I say a shot in the dark. I don't think it's egregious to think they're.
Who's going to be the number 1 seed? Who's going to have the jinx?
Tennessee.
I think
Tennessee,
so too.
which is good. Vital, you can have it. That's a lot of fans feel. I think it'd be cool to be the number 1 and win it all, but hopefully Tennessee does not. All right, your SEC update. Tennessee's playing. We'll tell you the other teams next.
The Cal era is here. Championship Under Construction is brought to you by Limburg Real Estate Group, serving all of Northwest Arkansas, Missouri, and the River Valley. For all your real estate needs, go to LimburgTeam.com.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Ad paid for by the Sentinel Group. Attention Marines, military personnel, families, and contractors who were stationed at Camp Lejeune. Were you present at Camp Lejeune between August 1953 and December of 1987? You may be entitled to significant compensation. For nearly 34 years, those in the Marine Corps' base Camp Lejeune were exposed to contaminated drinking water, resulting in devastating injuries, including several forms of cancer, adverse birth outcomes, Parkinson's disease, and more. North Carolina's procedural laws have prevented victims from getting the justice they deserve, but passage of the Camp Lejeune Justice Act of 2022 would allow you or a loved one to file lawsuit seeking compensation for illnesses and injuries linked to the toxic water. Call today for your free consultation. 800-532-4724. Let our experienced attorneys fight to get you the compensation you deserve, and you pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. Call 800-532-4724. That's 800-532-4724. Again, 800-532-4724.
This is the Morning Rush.
Drive a compact SUV that has more style, power, and technology with the 2023 Buick Envision at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Right now, get 1.9% financing for 60 months on remaining 2023 Buick Envisions. Or choose up to $3,500 in factory discounts. The Buick Envision, it's all about you and designed to inspire. Experience the new Buick at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
And we're back with the action. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. With an irresistible taste and zero sugar, Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any sports fan. So make sure you... Wait, Jim, I didn't mean try it right now. We're still on the air.
Best Coke ever? Take a taste, Jen.
Really?
No, not right now, Jen. We got a game to call.
I'm Jim Cash III, owner of the Diamond Center. I invite you to come visit us for all your jewelry needs, including celebrations, purchases, repurposing, or jewelry repairs. The Diamond Center offers the largest selection of engagement rings in the area, along with complete custom design for all those special occasions. My family's legacy in jewelry goes back 4 generations. We strive for excellent customer service, integrity in our pricing, and jewelry of the very best quality and craftsmanship. This is all backed by our exclusive free lifetime warranty. Come see us at the Diamond Center, celebrating a legacy of love.
Let me grab my car keys and we'll roll.
We still going to that new bar downtown?
Yeah, it's supposed to be fun. Lexi, give me driving directions from home to downtown bar district.
Autocorrect. Suggest Uber. Pickup. Home. Drop off downtown Bar District.
No, I'm driving.
Suggest the Metro bus. Departing in 12 minutes.
Point taken, Lexi. We'll grab a ride.
If you drink, don't drive. Decide to ride. Brought to you in partnership by Anheuser-Busch, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and Uber.
Wes, how many people can a large pizza feed?
About 4.
So I should tell Cousin Jeff 1.
Oh, wow. He's a big eater.
The biggest. He once got kicked out of an all-you-can-eat diner because they ran out of food. How many can a small pizza feed?
I'd say 2.
Our small pizza at $15 is a meal for 2? We should advertise this. That goat'll hunt.
Dog.
What you call me?
That dog will hunt.
Wes, dogs are man's best friend. Goats are the true hunters.
Goats?
Billy Goat Jr.'s Grammy was trained to chase squirrels, cats, birds, and rabbits. We could hear her for miles through the brush. And she'd circle them right to us.
You're not serious.
As serious as a meal for 2 for $15.
You're an interesting cat.
What you call me?
A meal for 2 for $15. Eat Jim's RazorbackPizza.com.
If you knew all that Jody's Auto Service Centers can do for your vehicle and you'd never take your vehicle anywhere else.
My fleet is small, 14 trucks and cars. It's a struggle every day with parts, employees, and scheduling, but one thing I never worry about is vehicles. Jody's has special fleet pricing, special in and out service, or free shuttle and pickup and delivery service. And they do everything, service, repair, and maintenance. That makes my life much easier. All my vehicles go to Jody's.
Latest technology and highly trained technicians means we could do it all. From the most highly technical repairs to everyday oil change specials, tires, everything, even diesels. Jody'sAuto.com. Schedule free shuttle service or pickup and delivery. Get a tire quote. Get financing. Jody's Auto Service Centers, voted best of the best by our customers year after year. We're your neighbors since 1984 with 3 full-service locations in Fort Smith and Van Buren. See for yourself at JODYSauto.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Except we've got SEC finals. Deal with it. They're the best.
In the SEC, it just means more.
I know one thing. The SEC just got a little tougher.
This is your SEC update on the Morning Rush.
Brought to you by Burton Pools and Spas. Trusted pool experts and your source for backyard fun. Locations in Fort Smith, Springdale, and always online at burtonpools.com.
And we're going to go right to the Bacardi Daniel hotline for your SEC update as we welcome in our friend Tom Murphy. Tom, I know you've made your way back from Hoover to the great state of Arkansas. I know we'll get into some Arkansas stuff in just a second, but maybe what you took away from the conference in the first few days and how things have shaken out to this point.
Well, there were some teams, good morning, there were some teams that were really eager to solidify their tournament bids, and LSU certainly capitalized on that. You know, Mississippi State trying to become a regional host made a pretty good bid for that, still alive even though they lost last night. Vanderbilt probably was on the brink of inclusion, and now they're in there. So for the teams it was really important for, you know, outside Ole Miss that lost and has a losing record now. Most of them did well, and the teams like Arkansas and Texas A&M that were probably assured of a host and probably a top 8 seed going in that went 2 and out, they're probably still top 8 seeds, but maybe, you know, for Arkansas, if not maybe a 3 or 4, maybe they're down to a 5 or 6. But we'll find that out on Monday.
Yep, and the teams that are involved when Arkansas's where they are in the pecking order of national seats 1 through 8 on Sunday, and then the actual team. Do you like how they split it up? I think it's kind of weird. I wish they would just do it all at once, but do you like how they push it all the way to Monday at 11 o'clock?
Oh, yeah, I misspoke on that. Yeah, no, it's cool to me that the national seeds come out the day earlier. It extends the intrigue, and I guess it gives the committee a chance to further, you know, nail down the final spots, because it's a lot easier to get the 16 national seeds or whatever they're going to release on Sunday than it is to do the full field.
So you got 2 teams matching up today that Arkansas lost to, Kentucky and South Carolina. Then on the other side of the bracket, you got Tennessee and Mississippi State, one of which Arkansas's beat already in the series, one of which you have not seen play. Maybe what intrigues you about today, and then who will be facing LSU and Vanderbilt tomorrow, Tom?
Well, for Tennessee, I mean, look, Arkansas would have liked to have won games, and you can go into all the various factors that, are going to apply to Arkansas heading into next week. But for Tennessee, they might have, or Tennessee and Kentucky might have the top two national seeds nailed down at this point. Like they could, for instance, both lose today, and probably still do that. But LSU, I wrote about it in today's paper. The comparison to them and for Ole Miss in 2022 when they barely skeeched into the field. Now, I don't think LSU is going to barely skeech in the field. I think they're going to be a 3 seed, but they're just going to be dangerous because their hitting has come alive. There's been a lot of home runs in Hoover, and LSU's hit 2 grand slams. I mean, Arkansas hit 3 yesterday, and Kentucky hit 3 in that game. But I think Tennessee and Kentucky are in fine shape, and for South Carolina and Mississippi State, if State can win and get to the final, I don't see how they don't become a top 16 seed. I sat next to Steve Robertson, the kind of famous tattooed up dude who covers Mississippi State, and he was plying me with the information about why Mississippi State should be a host, and that the teams they're up against, if you look at their KPI and there some various other indices, really aren't even close to Mississippi State. So, it seems to me like SEC powers are convinced they're going to get, I think, 6 hosts, and that would probably mean that Georgia and Mississippi State are both in there.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. I thought it was interesting watching games throughout this week to this point that they've spent some of their marketing time on that screen. I don't know if you've seen it being in the ballpark, but if you've watched them on the TV, where they've been marketing that 11 teams in the top 25 of the KPI. That's not messaged at the fans. I think that's messaged at the committee watching the games. And certainly this league's wanting to flex a little bit. So I think the interesting question is how many of the top 8 seeds do you get? I believe a lot of people would say 4. Some would say Georgia may have a right to claim one of those, Tom. And, when we look at the map of it, later this weekend, how much national spread is there geographically for those top 8 national seeds? I think it's going to be an interesting draw when the committee releases their results.
It really will. And you're right. I did see the 11 in the top 25 marketing that was going on. I was not that well versed in the KPI heading into this week, and now I read about it more and all that yesterday, and it's been added to the metric that the committee is going to consider. And if you're the SEC, why not pump up that? Here's the new metric, and here's how we're dominating in the new metric. The selection committee head, so one of the teams that's kind of on the hosting bubble is at the school that is the committee head. And I apologize for not knowing if it's like East Carolina or pardon me for stumbling here, but it's a school that's in the conversation to host, and that might be one that knocks out an SEC school.
I think it is ECU, Tom. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yes, for a top 16 seed, that could be a team that does that, and their KPI is not as good, strength of schedule and all that. So, you know what? The SEC is going to be well represented. We've seen many years, even the last time Arkansas was there in 22, wasn't it 5 out of the 8? And then Oklahoma and Texas were both in it. It was just incredible. Or maybe the SEC had 4 out of the 8, plus Oklahoma and Texas coming in, and that constituted 6. Like Oklahoma and somebody else were the others. So it's a power league. It's only gotten stronger. And when you see what happens to like Arkansas and A&M that had such great regular seasons, and they go in and go 0-2, it just kind of shows you that anybody in this conference can rise up. And look at the national championships from the last several years. It's been SEC schools ever since the Arkansas-Oregon State CWS in 2018.
Yeah, 1-7 for those national champions in the last 3 years in Hoover. Tom, give us a sense of you're there. Like I can listen to Dave, I can watch Dave, but I mean, what was the sense you drew yesterday being at the press conference, watching his mannerisms after the game, and just seeing him interact with the guys on the field following the 9-6 loss?
Well, that they've tried to do a lot of different things to get guys going, like not put mental strain on them and pressure. And by that, Kendall Diggs and Aloy right now, he's not in a super good place hitting. And they've used 50-something different unique batting orders this year. And that just tells you that they're searching who can get hot. The amount of different guys they've used, the rotations in left field and DH has really, in center field, it's just been incredible. We've never seen a season like this because they're not hitting like maybe you thought they would hit. And the pitching that had been so reliable, well, not only have they, lost Hagen Smith's last 2 starts, but he got a loss yesterday. So, and then the question was, well, after Hagen, what have you got? Well, now it looks like Molina's been, confident coming out of the bullpen. So what do you do with that? Do you put him back in the starting rotation again? Maybe you do, because Gage Wood got knocked around yesterday. So they have a lot of questions, really, pitching and hitting. And then the pitcher's fielding yesterday led to multiple runs, right? I mean, Brady Tygert's the deal in the 7th inning, and then, Hagen Smith's throw to first base. And so defense was flawed a little bit. So I think being on the road all these days, I think they're going to really appreciate resting up at home for several days and then finding out, what your draw is, and then just getting ready to try to kick it into a new gear, wipe the slate clean, and see if you can get some guys going.
Yeah. Arkansas's won 3 of the last 10, or lost 7 of the last 10. What's the proper level of anxiety headed into next week?
Well, if you're a Razorback fan that saw them, a super hot TCU team come in last year and just knocked the ball all over the yard in Fayetteville, you're concerned because of all the things I just listed. Guys who aren't hitting super well. Hagen wasn't sharp yesterday. And then what is your starting pitching going to look like behind them? Yeah, you got a deep bullpen. I mean, when you think of Fouch and Flaherty and a few other guys, recent outings have been really good. So, yeah, you want to use them, but you want to be able to spot them up over the weekend, spread them out, close games, and things like that. I think the level of anxiety is pretty high just because the clutch hitting, for all the factors that we talked about, and then you add clutch hitting to it, that they're not getting enough of it. I mean, Peyton Holt's 3-run homer yesterday was a bit of an outlier. They've had bases loaded and, they get a sac fly or they get an RBI ground out instead of a gapper double that clears the bases. So there's a lot of anxiety. They've got to try to just mentally refresh and come out with a new approach that they're going to deliver in clutch situations.
Tom, we'll leave it there. We appreciate you jumping on with us. I know you've also had a busy week in Hoover, and we'll talk about next week when we get these regionals updates on Tuesday.
Yep, sounds fun. See ya.
All right, get 11 a.m. on ESPN2 will be the announcement of who Arkansas will be playing in the Fayetteville Regional. And that is your SEC update brought to you by our friends at Burton Pools and Spas.
Yeah, dive into summer with the Doughboys Pool during their super sale that's going on right now. Say goodbye to the crowded public pools or the pool at your fitness facility or your neighborhood pool and have a pool in your own backyard and get all the fun that comes along with it. The hot deals are right now. Doughboy above ground pools up to $1,500 off. 18-foot steel wall pools only $75 a month. And semi-in-ground pools start at under $200 a month. Plus, you get a free robotic cleaner that makes taking care of your pool even easier. Hurry into Fort Smith or Springdale or the new location in Greenland. 3 showrooms that can help you pick out your new pool today. That's Burton Pools and Spas, Springdale, Fort Smith, and now in Greenland. They build more than pools. They build long-term relationships. It's all online at burtonpools.com.
As we close out the show, Andy texting, I'm nervous as a wreck about postseason. Y'all, you got to go back because to 2 years ago, 0-2 in Hoover. Team goes on through Stillwater, Chapel Hill, and goes to the College World Series. Not going to say that's 100% going to happen this year with this year's team, but just because of what happens in Hoover, Alabama, doesn't necessarily indicate what's going to happen for the future of not just Arkansas baseball, but any baseball team for that matter. We'll see who comes out of it in Hoover. Will it be LSU? Will it be Vanderbilt? South Carolina? Who knows? We'll find out on Sunday with the conclusion of that game. We'll also find out on Sunday where Arkansas is going to be seated amongst the national seeds. We appreciate Tom. We also appreciate Scott Tabor joining us this morning, as well as Chuck Barrett. For Colton Little, for Tommy Kraft, I'm Ty Richardson. Enjoy your weekend. We're not back on Monday because of Memorial Day. Back on Tuesday. Enjoy your Memorial Day weekend, and thanks to those that all have laid down their life for us.
It's a good day to be in Arkansas. You know why? The Lotto jackpot is now more than $1.5 million. And the best part? The winning